Hey guys, and welcome back to the BrewSpytheMagicGuy channel. So basically this, what you see in front of you, this is more or less what we were talking about at the end of last stream. I made it a little bit more tempo-y than I usually play my Jacekai. You'll see cards like Remand. You should see, spell callers in the sideboard. So it's a little bit more tempo than we usually have been playing our Jacekai. And maybe that's a better place for it to be if we're going to try to do Jace plus Entreat Wombo. Instead of like the really grindy blue-white style that we tried. Maybe this will be a better style of deck for us, or for what we're trying to accomplish. Yeah. What do you think, Lil Coron? I saw you in chat earlier. Thanks for the thanks for coming in. Are Mondays like a better day for you? What's this? Hey, how's it going, Wumbo? And I think, yeah, I think that I think that it'll be interesting to see. We'll just see. We'll just play it by ear. See if we like this style. Oh, yeah. You should probably get some sleep then, man. Jeez. Yeah, you should definitely get some rest, man. All right, we're gonna give this a whirl. I think it'll do what we want it to do. I'm not altogether sure. So I kind of opted for like less grindy elements. Like you'll notice that the cantrip suite is just the visions. You'll notice that it's, yeah, not even trying to necessarily get up to enough mana to even animate the colonnades, or just maybe a knock to even playing one or two colonnade. But you'll notice that the mana base is trying to better support the Angers, and the mana base is also trying to support a Singleton Lighthouse. So we'll see how that works. And I'm doing a split of 3 and 3. I was trying to get the fourth Jace. I just didn't have enough to get a fourth Jace right now. But I did manage to grab us a third Entreat. It's not expensive, thankfully, not very expensive. And I added more burn because I think we're going to be more tempo. I think we're going to be more about like bolts and remanding and, you know, electrolyze, hit them with Vendilion clicks, and then sideboard we're going to bring in some Quellers if we want to like forward our tempo plan. We'll need to figure out if obviously if we're the aggressor or if we're the control, as always. But I think that I really like the idea of this list, and we'll see how it goes. Could play Grandmaster. Well, we're not running that much mana though, right? We're not going to be. The goal is to not necessarily. God, the blue-white deck, to be honest. Bunch of O2s, and then we managed to beat Storm, so that's good, but not good enough. Not good enough. We'll see how the Jacekai deck handles itself. It's actually a better distribution. I can pump those up so we can see it. There we go. So yeah, just the honest to God old school, just 4 bolt, 3 helix, 2 electrolyze. Really the only things that really are very different from maybe what you've seen in the past from like a kind of tempo-y style Jacekai is that we're just mainboarding the clicks. And we're trying out Remand. Remand has that other mode. Like both the click and the Remand can technically let us draw the Entreat during our opponent's turn, but there's a lot of pretense that would have to happen there. I think Opt is a better enabler if you want to be able to do that, where you're actually just using the Entreat as just a powerful late game bomb against some of the Bloodbraid Elf, Juns, and what have you. So we'll see how this goes. This is a fine hand. We're up against another an O. Oh. Already looks like a matchup where Remand will be weak. And we're about to get Blood Mooned. But thankfully our hand has 2 islands, so it's not the end of the world. That could have been a lot worse. Do we want to just sit on the remand for a turn even? And then if he doesn't do anything scary, we just bolt the Arbor Elf? We'll look like Blue Moon to this guy, even though we are Jacekai. We just happen to have a fistful of our non-white cards, which is actually quite nice. What's up, Clopster? We could click away what he just cast. I also just like killing the Arbor. But I don't have a follow-up remand, so like maybe I should have just slammed the Search for Iskanta. It's fine. Yeah, I probably should have just slammed Search for Iskanta there. Drew another bolt. We know he's missing on mana, but there's now the strong possibility that he draws to the mana that he needs. Let's sit on Snap Remand. Not like a terribly strong possibility, just we want to keep forwarding our plan. And this is like the benefit of being a more tempo style of Jacekai, that we can do plays like this. Jace. Yeah, we should Jace. I think we should Jace. There's a high possibility that I can Jace Storm into a land and still bolt the Arbor. 2 Entreats. Can't cast either, unfortunately. Well, we'll just focus on what we can cast. So we'll take out the Arbor. Smack him for 2. Okay. So that's how you beat Ponza. Yeah, definitely glad we're on this many islands and this many planes. This matchup shouldn't be nearly as hard as it has been for us in the past. Yeah, the tempo plan was sweet. That felt good. That felt really good. How do we want to fight them? I like Purge. I like Wear Tear. These both hit Blood Moon. We know that they're a Bloodbraid Elf deck, so I like having the Entreats in the Jace package. Maybe what's awkward is Cryptic, because it just requires so much blue mana, and they're going to be like Stone Raiding our blue. If we can sneak out a click or an electric... Like, Remand was a huge game. Like, we got under his skin, and we just managed to leverage... We leveraged it quite a bit. I think Search for Skanta's good. It's something we can do even if we're mooned and we only have 1 blue mana. It's good to see you, Clopster. So definitely want this for Tear. Definitely want Purge. Purge has multiple targets in this matchup. What's interesting is, do we want to go the Queller route? Do we want Sphere? Do we want Settle? Do we want Explosives? Explosives is interesting. You can hit like Utopia Sprawls and Dorks sometimes on the draw. This also could, in theory, hit a Blood Moon, but it would be, we'd have to have single white and single blue already. So the Quellers like interest me. Like trying the tempo plan one more time against him is interesting. We could try it against Ponza, because I've tried some of these other pieces against Ponza before and it just doesn't seem to work. Let's try the Quellers. Let's give the Quellers a shot. And if it doesn't work out, we'll board that plan out for game 3. We have a game on this guy, so we have a chance to try out something a little bit new. One of the last true brew streams. Everyone else just point and click net decking. ABC123. Oh well, I'm glad you liked the show. I think we keep this. I need to find sorry, we need to find a plains. We have a game to give. Not that I want to, but there's the sprawl. So we'll Serum Vision's looking for the basics themselves. Okay, so there's another island that's great. And click will be good should we get mooned. So let's go top. These helixes will be quite bad, though. Jace will still be castable. Click will be castable. It's fine. I mean, it's been a while since we've been able to be like, yeah, that's fine, you know? Alright, so this will draw us the Vendilion Click, and we're looking for not Quellers. We'll bottom those. We'll play out our Mountain, aka Colonnade. Klops just says next game, bring in EE for one. Colossus, sure. I think we draw step click him. There's also the potential we just click ourselves and put Entreat back into the deck because it's white-white. I kind of like that. Like, his hand's going to be gas. That's what their deck is designed to do. So I imagine just holding up open mana and then clicking ourselves even might be a good play. We could... I mean, we can't really race Colossus because he can just pump it. It's fine. Click myself. Put Entreat back into the deck. Draw a Tarn. Draw another click. So we can bounce the Colossi with Jace. It's not a terrible tempo play. Of course now Jace is dead to a Bloodbraid, but there's only so much I can play around. I feel like if he had Bloodbraid he would have already cast it. I don't mind EE for one in the matchup. This could be like Inferno Titan. Yep, that's pretty good. So I guess I'll like kill my whole board. Yeah, it seems good. Promo Titan. Okay. I guess we can like check out how he's sideboarded before we die, right? At least. Lighthouse. Could again click myself, hoping for. Oh well, I missed the opportunity. I was going to say we could have clicked ourselves, hoping to rip the basic planes. I technically could have clicked ourselves like sorcery speed this turn and hoped for basic planes purge the Titan. Let's at least see how he sideboarded. Because we're technically dead here. Okay, so we're going to click ourselves, actually. Although getting the information is nice, we get to block the Titan here. I'm going to put back a Helix. Another Bolt. So we can bolt the Titan. I was planning on blocking the Titan and bolting it, but that's what we drew instead. We'll take the one off the elf. So this is probably recast the Colossi. Ooh, Tireless Tracker, no. Oh no. Oh, he's just casting them both. Yeah, he has enough mana too. Okay. Jace. Okay. So we can Jace into a white source, which would cast Helix on the tracker, and then we block the Colossus, right? And we have to hit it here, right, with Jace's help. The other play I can do is I can tempo the Colossi, and tracker can be blocked unless he draws a land off the top. Tracker can be blocked with click. We might just want to tempo with Jace. And then if opponent swings in to try to take out the Jace, at least we can make his blocks awkward. Well, no, he can just swing both Arbors into my... Yeah, tracker plus 2 Arbors will kill Jace on 2 loyalty. I think we just Jace Storm and hope to find white source or another bolt. We found another bolt. Okay. So Entreat's going to go back. And Helix goes back. So we bolt the tracker. Click will block. We can keep Jace alive for another storm to try to hit what we need. Even Snapcasters at this point are a fine draw, so I'm not going to give up. Oh, wait. He's attacking me with Colossus? Yeah, okay, he's ignoring the Jace. Yeah, we have to block. So that would be 8. Okay. Blue source down. So if we bounce the Colossus, our Jace dies. But if we don't draw, we know one of our next draws is Entreat. So it has to be a live draw in the next 2. I think that's like, we're going to lose the game anyway, though. Probably, right? So we bounce Colossus. Well, okay, the benefit of bouncing Colossus is I get to remand it. But he has enough mana to just cast it twice, but that would mean him not killing our Jace with these Arbors, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he has to use one of the elves to recast the Chameleon. Let's actually do that. We'll bounce this. We'll kick it back. We can remand it. We know we're drawing an Entreat, but if he wants to recast the Colossus this turn, he has to use one of the elves. Ooh, Chandra. That's scary. All right. Remand that. No. Yeah, E for 1 is good. It hits all their elves and sprawls. So this means he's not killing Jace. He's just recasting the... oh, okay, so he's going to recast the Chandra. Yeah, no, you don't cast the 4-drop. Actually, that's a really awkward 4-drop, so he's just going to kill our Jace here. But now we're into fresh cards. Because we put back, remember, we put back Helix and Entreat. So let's see if we draw what we need. Will we draw what we need? Technically, Serum is correct to keep, I think. I just don't know if we have time to go draw spell into what we actually need. Opponent might just draw like another Molten Rain effect for this island anyway. I think it's just bottom. Play the Colonnade, say go. I mean, it was the turn 2 Moon. He just kind of got under our skin. So we'll take out my... speaking of which, I'm glad I didn't keep the Serum on top. So he's going to take out the island. We have very limited time to take out the... Here's the thing. So, you know, do you take out the Chandra, or do you take out the Blood Moon? Because it's like, okay, well, yeah, now we're just screwed. An Electrolyze. I can't cast. All right, well... I think the Quellers was wrong. Although Quellers are more decent when we're on the play. I don't know if I'm in love with them, though. I think, unfortunately, the white nature of Entreat is tough. Like, remember how I was saying, like, I wanted to cut Cryptic because triple blue's tough? Like, Jace, not, and, like, anything that's double color in this matchup is just difficult. Like, the Vanillion clicks, we were lucky we got the cast. Like, anything that's double color is tough. Not that we cut all of that, but...
Okay, so Klopster likes the E for one. I'm with you. That makes sense. That does make sense. I like all this for the most part. Oh, Snare is actually really weak in this matchup. Why did we leave that in? That was terrible. There's not many targets for it. Um, that was bad. I mean, D-Sphere is nice. There's lots of haymakers in their deck that we want to just remove, and this is single colors. So I'm not sure about the Quellers. I think clicks want to stay, but I'm not sure. Like anything that's double color is tough in this matchup. So let's put it all on the sideboard and we'll try to piece it back together. So things that are strong in the matchup, especially if we can make it to blue-blue, is Jace. Um, I do like being able to go boom here. That here they are, and their deck just doesn't do well. They're not running Banefire anymore. Or sorry, Banefire. Wow, they don't run Bonfire of the Damned anymore. I mean, Settle's interesting. They're sometimes on Thrun. This can answer BBE boards. It's just that it's double white. I mean, it's got the same issue as Entreat. Like this would have answered his board, but these will have the same issue. I mean, like Path actually is stronger than you might think at first, because if we have a Snapcaster, it's as simple as pathing our own Snap. So that's a reason to leave in the clicks at least. I mean, putting the Quellers back in at least, you know. I mean, Staticaster has targets. This also shoots down stuff. I think I'm going to slim on some of the double color stuff, like Entreat and not. And, well, no. This is tough. Even Anger is decent to consider in the matchup. I guess, are we the control, or are we trying to tempo here? Right? Because if the goal is to tempo and not try for the haymakers, then it's Queller. It might even be slim on some Jaces. Like if we're trying to tempo, then this is the plan. Leave in all the burn, put in the paths, put in the explosives, put in the logic knot even, and then cut a Jace or two. Like if the plan is to tempo, we don't want the sweepers. We maybe want like settle. Will I ever swap my non-foil unhinged for foil ones? I don't know if I have enough of the... I don't know if I have enough of the... Alright, we'll run it like this. And this is, we're going for tempo, which is something that our other Jeskai deck wouldn't be able to do. This has a lot of basics. This is tempting, but it's really slow. But I don't think you mulligan a hand that's just going to be naturally what it needs to be. Opponent mulligans and keeps. Okay. I don't necessarily hate how he boarded. As much as like I like to have the haymakers in these Bloodbraid Elf deck matchups, I just think that maybe, well, I mean, this hand certainly doesn't tempo, but he didn't have a turn one play, so that's good. I don't really want to expose our non-basics to, well, no, it's fine. I think I'm still playing the Fountain, though. They don't have 2 mana plays, typically speaking. I think he just has a grindier hand. Our basics are precious, so we don't want to necessarily just play them out. I was saying I have some foil ones. Oh, that's kind of you, Wumbo. Oh, would I swap my non-foil? I don't know if I would, Wumbo. That's kind of you, though. I don't know if I would. Yeah, just like we predicted, he didn't have a play there. There's a wear tear for us. Okay, I'm okay putting out the first basic island. I'll stop in his draw step, but I'm not actually going to cast the click because we don't have it, but I'd like him to be thinking about Vendilion Click. 1, 2, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. All right. Yeah, we're not going to cast the Vendilion Click in my hand. You got it? Mm-hmm. So is this where we just slam Jace and don't look back and hope that he doesn't have Bloodbraid? Could also uptick the Jace. I think this basic plains is really precious. Why don't we go Jace, Fate Seal? It's a bird. You can have a Bird of Paradise.
Slam Jace is not even close. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Spell Queller the draw. So we will play out the basic planes. What do you got? Tireless Tracker. We can handle Tracker. Go ahead. I'm scared of what else he might have in his hand, not necessarily Tracker. Yeah, so this is the other stuff I'm afraid of. This is like Chandra or Acid Moss, our only basic plane source. We'll quell this. So we know he has a Tracker in his hand now. Utopia Sprawl, no, you can have that. Jace is on 9 loyalty. It might be correct for us to kill the bird. Okay. So we know his hand is Tracker and 2 unknown. We knew about the Sprawl. So there's Tracker. Okay. So that's going to get bolted. Could path your own Queller to get more white. That's true, we could, if we had to. Like, if he was killing our Queller anyway. Nope, you can have that. So you had an Eternal Witness. So Witness is going to get back Tracker. Note to self, maybe we should just path the Tracker so we can't draw to another Witness. Yep. He did have the land for the clue, unfortunately. I don't know how we're going to need to spend these resources, but I only have 1 white. So I think we should go ahead and path Tracker so he doesn't have the option to get it back with Witness. Maybe this is wrong because of things like Titan, but I also don't want him shuffling when we go for a Jace Fate Seal. And he does get to look at 1 more card than I get to see due to the clue. Okay, Electrolyze will answer these 2. So let's Fate Seal. I know he's going to get to see 1 more card than we actually get to seal. But I think at this point, Stone Rain's okay, because we can just cast the Helix. And I don't think this Plains is going to be integral to what we're trying to do here. Well, there are other Haymakers I'm more afraid of, and we're just about to ultimate the Jace. I just have to make it so he doesn't deal any damage to Jace this coming turn. So we'll say no. We'll hold the Queller back on blocks. We'll kick it back. Because at this point, the land destruction isn't really the end of the world. So there he draws the Stone Rain. He'll probably crack the clue, yep. So he does get to draw 1 unknown. Okay. So that went a lot better. And we never got to double white in the matchup. The moon came down too soon. So even though against the Bloodbraid Elf decks, I like being able to have these Haymakers, the Entreat, I think that it's just not the matchup for it, unfortunately. I'm going to take a quick break. Don't go away. I'm going to put up the deck list that's curved. Nice, Sue, Sean. Thanks. I'm going to be right back, guys. Give me 5-10 minutes. I need to use the restroom, and I'm going to grab a drink. But I will be back. But yeah, just let me know what you think of the list. And we're up against Ponza, and that's more than any of our other lists can say. Like, all our other lists have lost the Ponza matchup. So what's new? I'll put the stuff that's new over here, like cards that you didn't get to, cards that we haven't tested in this shell yet. Actually, I think we had a Wear Tear before, but these are like new, the Quellers and the Spellskite. And then in the main board, what we're testing that's new is the 3rd Entreat, the Lighthouse, The second Vendilion Click, the remands are all new. That's very different. And, you know, like little tweaks here and there, like an extra helix, just little things of that nature. So, as far as like new cards, those are what the new cards are. So I'll leave it up like this, but give me like 10 minutes, guys. I'll be on my phone, though, in case you message me. Just give me a minute, guys. No basic mountain. I know, right? All right, be back. Hey, thanks for waiting, guys. I'm back. Let's play another game. So we're 1-0. Let's go. Yeah, I think that the tempo plan was actually a much better plan against Ponza than a lot of the other blue-white decks we've tried. And I think that, of course, compared to like Esper or many other color combinations, I think that blue-white red segues the best into tempo strategies. So, all right, we're up against Stone Peanut, who's the 4-0. How does this pairing system work at all? How does it even work? I like this. It's okay. It's a little bit bad because we have the Foundry, but I'll keep it. Yeah, but my blue-white list beat Ponza. Yeah, well, mine didn't. I think it's greedy to bottom that. Opponent mold to 5 could be some form of dredge or hollowed one. Usually those are the decks in the format that go to 5s. Nope, it's Tron. Ooh, we might get to Smell Snare. We might get to snare a Sylvan. It's pretty much the only target for this in the matchup. Another sphere. The Tower of Power. Relic o Progenitus. So I will put my Snapcaster into play. And we will hope to draw something. Don't know what that something is if he's about to just natural his Tron. Another Snapcaster. We'll play Island with hopes to hit blue source instead of this planes we're working with. You were on 3 snaps, 3 color, 1 click. I don't think making 1 angel is correct in the face of stone. Kind of just have to hope he doesn't have a haymaker, right? Tron always does, but just kind of have to hope, right? What about the new rules? Carne. Smell Snare doesn't counter anything in this matchup at this point. That's of significant relevance. So I put the 2. Can put Snapcaster number 2 into play. And we drew to a blue source. We did. All right. So how am I supposed to utilize our cryptic? Don't know. Opponent's on 2 cards. We get to punch Karn. So at least he's at parity for his +4. We need a little bit more pressure, though. 2 snaps is not enough pressure for Karn. He needs literally 1 more point of damage a turn. Yep, I'll exile the Entreat. Oh no, he knows we have Entreats! Could always, like, counterbalance. It's fine. There's always the possibility that we counterbalance. Like, his next Haymaker. We could bounce the Karn in his end step and hope to draw to more permission, like Remand. It's fine. So is that what we want to do? I mean, he has stone up, so... There's the Remand that we would have needed. I think what he's planning to do is just put a fate counter on his Karn. I think is what he's aiming to do. Oh, he doesn't do that. Interesting. Yeah, I should have gone for it because we drew the Remand. The Cryptic the Karn. Shows us Chromatic Star. Okay. Imagine if our Ponza opponent had been paired against this guy instead of us, right? Would have been interesting. More interesting than what's about to happen, unfortunately. So we can counter bounce Karn and then he just pops stone. Oh, he doesn't have enough to pop stone. Interesting. So this is like... Oh, you know what's interesting is he... He cracked the Relic of Progenitus. So I actually could consider... It looks like he just wants to put a fate counter on something. We can't let this coil resolve because I don't have a path, unfortunately. I could return a Snapcaster. The problem is I'd have to draw 1 more blue, exactly a blue source. I think it's counter return. Hope to just natural something, I suppose, off the top. there's going to be a colonnade. Well, we tried. Hey, Goblin Guy, thank you so much for the resubscription. Okay, so we kill Karn. I mean, this is in before him having Dismember, of course. So we go after Karn. Oh, Karn down. This is... Yep. But at this point, there's probably another Karn, right? Or like Ulamog. No point in looting in response. Okay. Yep, we get it, we get it, we get it. You have these things. You have all of these things. Okay. Alright, so, do I have any tools for this matchup? Not really. Not like good enough tools. Like, there's Stony to think about. There's Detention Sphere. Wear Tear on the play is okay. On the draw, it's not as good. We leave in all our burn. We leave in all our tempo. We leave in all our top decks of power. And just hope, really. I think is the plan. We gave him more of a run for his money than maybe even I thought was possible, considering he had the pretty much natural Tron. Not that Jace is laughable in the matchup. I'm just wondering if this is like a matchup where we just have to naturally draw into the Entreats, or if Jace is still where it's at. Smell Snare kind of smells. It doesn't really hit all that much in the matchup. If we can get some Quellers in, that could forward our tempo plan. Yeah, let me redo it. Let me redo it, Goblin Guy. I didn't necessarily miss it. I didn't hear the sound play. So let me do it. Da 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 da. Goblin Guy has resubscribed Tier 1 for 3 months. Holy shite! 3-month resubscription. Thank you, Goblin Guy. Thank you so much, man. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. I mean, Search Riskanta's slow. So are the Jaces. I mean, these are slow. I mean, what am I quelling though? Like O-Stone? Ancient Stirrings? Like, that's the issue. I think D-Sphere is just a little bit too weak. Well, now we want an answer. We could cut, like, well, if I cut all our paths, we have no outs to Wormcoil. I guess I could bounce them with Jace over and over again. It doesn't, like, I never feel great about these taking up card slots. I think Search is too slow. And I don't want to cut any burn or clicks or Quellers. I will cut one Jace. Let's do it. Yeah, but you can quell maps and stirrings. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Goblin Guy. Alright, so this hand does have the tempo pieces, right? It's got clocks. It's got a visions. We'll keep it. Opponent also keeps. No, he mults to 6. Mults to 5. And keeps. Okay. Bottoms. Okay, another remand. That's good. I think we need all these tools, right? Well, I don't really want the Foundry when we have Cryptic in our hand. Let's be a little greedy. Let's hope for different mana to work with. So there's the map. I don't have the Wear Tear. Or the Stony Silence, unfortunately. Maybe I'm even supposed to just put a Snap into play if he doesn't play something we have to remand. Okay, we will remand. Queller. I can quell the scrying. So what's unfortunate is I have a bolt, but do we fix ourselves more towards the cryptic? I think so. I think I still get fountain. I think the bolt will have to come at the end. I think we're fixing ourselves more into... This is to fix us into the queller and more towards the cryptic, because now I just need one more blue source. I mean, our best lab would be a steam vents. It would fix us in everything we're trying to do. Stirrings is fine. You should keep in a couple paths, though. I just don't know if we have room for it if we're trying to do the tempo plan, you know? Alright, power plant the reveal. It's not great for our opponent. It's not really what he wanted to see. Okay, so I could snap Serum, which is maybe correct because he's not going to have Tron next turn. I'm not stopping him from cracking map. And a lot of the small stuff we could remand anyway isn't going to matter. I think this is a place where we're just supposed to snap Serum Visions. As boring as that is, as weak as that might look, like I think just hitting... So we don't have enough white for the Entreat. We're going to bottom the Entreat, but we're going to keep this island. Even though it doesn't cast the bolts in my hand, I'm just going to hope that the bolts happen at the end here. This is the other power plant we knew about. This is like Sad Robot. Ballista for 2. That could be worse. It's really bad though because I don't have... that's true. It is bad because I don't have the mana source necessary to... Well, he's not going to be able to pump up the Ballista to kill the Queller. It's sad that we lost the Snapcaster, but I think we do want to sit on Cryptic, right? Or Command. I mean, it might be correct to Jace because he can't actually... If we Fate Seal with Jace, he can't actually kill Jace with this Ballista. We know what we're Fate Sealing ourselves for. We're looking for red source. Fate Sealing the opponent does very little when he has map, right? Because he could crack map during his draw step if we keep it on top. That's what I would do in his position. So we're actually going to seal ourselves because the opponent does have a shuffle effect on the table. It's a steam vents. I'm going to say no. We want that. I mean, if we want to truly protect Jace, give him the most protection, we don't attack with the Queller, but I think that's weak. I think we still get in here for 2. Oh, he's just growing the Ballista. That's great for us. Yeah, that's really good for us if he's just growing Ballista. Sure. Stony. Yeah, Stony's huge here. So we Stony the map. This is all coming up our way, isn't it? Let's put the Bolt back. We've already played a land drop, so I'm going to put Bolt, then Colonnade back. No, I'm going to put... I want 5 mana, though. Alright, hold up. We don't have a land drop this turn. Let's go Bolt, then Colonnade. Play the Stony. Act like we have a Logic Knot by leaving up blue-blue. This is coming up all our way. Seriously, guys, this is amazing. I mean, we may still lose because it's Tron, but it's appearing... Okay, so this is going to be like Thragtusk. So we remand that. And then we start the Fate Seal. So it's a Forest. Forest does give him access to the Wormcoil that could potentially be in his hand. Oh, he's had enough. Cool, 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 cool. We didn't actually have to navigate that. Which, I mean, I'm okay trying to, you know, it's interesting to navigate it. It makes for interesting magic. I guess we were correct not to cut all the Jaces. Cool. It may have been even incorrect to cut the first Jace, even. It's such a powerful tool. For blue decks. Okay, so I still kind of want all the Haymakers because in the event he doesn't have the O-Stone, we can just flood the board and win the game. Um, we have to make it though to our fourth or fifth land drop for that to be an option. There's also Ulamog to consider, so maybe this isn't even all that wonderful. Like if we cut these, what do we make room for? Potentially Jace, potentially the Spell Snare because it does have one target in the matchup, and that's Sylvan Scrying. There's four of them. So like, I mean, there's things to think about. We could even bring back in some number of paths because we were lucky that we made it so he wasn't able to resolve something scary like a Worm Coil. But if the Worm Coil had happened, it would have been problematic. So I mean, these are considerations. These five are considerations. I mean, after seeing how the Jace like performed and my opponent just wanted to scoop to the Jace Fate Seal. I mean, he also scooped due to like Stony. I mean, Electrolyze is really slow as far as forwarding our burn plan, but like if we're leaving in the burn in this Tron matchup, like we put in all of the burn or none of it. I mean, not none of it per se, but it would be like kind of like an all or none strat. So, do we want the 9 burn spell package or not? Do we? So Goblin likes 2 paths coming back in. Okay, so 2 paths. I'm with you so far. Do we want the Smell Snare even though it has a few targets? It does hit Ballista for 1. X is 1. It does hit Sylvan Scrying. He's on the play this time. So like I don't mind it for that reason. So we could just cut the Entreats. It's not the end of the world for Tron. That's the problem with Entreat. Not that it's not something we don't want. I'm just saying it's not really part of that's our haymaker. That's not really part of the this is on 2 mana actually, the matchup. It's not part of our it's not part of the haymaker idea with Jason and Treat. It's more so I think we need to be more tempo like I don't know. I think that Jace was strong there, but it also could have been due to the fact that we were on the play. I mean, again, we could just toss in 2 Entreats and just hope to rip them off the top and win the game. Whereas Jace won't be able to do that necessarily. It just depends on our draw. This is tough. This is tough. I'm going to make the call, though, and it's probably the wrong call. Actually, no, we shouldn't be on the Treats without Jace's help. I don't want to make the wrong call here, guys. Give me second path. Give me double Jace. Let's try that when he's on the play, when Tron's on the play. He also mulliganed to 5. I'm sure that's what my opponent's thinking to himself, and I think that's certainly a factor. Like, we were able to cut him on Tron in ways that you aren't normally able to. You know, and this is a one-lander. We're on the draw, but... Ooh, a Stony hand. Keep... Is there another land? Okay, bottom that. It's a sphere, not map. Strand, go. We're not fetching. We want to make sure we have the highest percentile to rip the land off the top. It's probably B. Oh, there's the Sylvan Scrying, and we're screwed. Oh, no, it's an Ancient Stirrings. Okay, maybe not completely screwed. Chromatic Sphere. He might even just have the natural Tron. He did sneap his hand, right? Really quickly. Yeah, he just quickly kept. So that's probably a natural Tron hand, to be honest. Drew a Queller. Yeah, we're going to lose anyway. It's not necessarily anything the opponent did. We kept a one-lander with Stony. We binned. Like, if we were playing Stony this turn, just imagine, you know? Yep, crack it. Yep. I mean, that's the difference. Like, the difference between us hitting that land and not hitting the land just tremendously changed the matchup. And then it was a Colonnade. God, these can be so bad. So now we have to hope it's not Carne. We have to hope that it's Worm Coil and we get to path it. Nope. Oh, it's Ulamog. I mean, Nulamog. Oh, it's just a huge ballista. Okay. This is not the end of the world. So we path that, right? And then, I know I have a Helix in my hand, but... Actually, do we have any reason to be in white-white? No, we don't. Since we cut the Entreats, so that makes it easier. We can just get the... Well, if I don't... If yeah, awkwardly enough, I think I still get found because we want to path now. I know I have a Helix in my hand, but we'll hit the red mana later on, guys.
Wish we could have quelled this. I mean, like if we'd drawn like if we didn't brick on mana, if we hadn't bricked. Oh, he doesn't ping us. He must have been F6'd. Yeah, he could have pinged us for 3 and still gotten the land. Drew a bolt. All right, kick it back. We have a remand. We have a plan at least. Something big and scary. Path or Stony. Well, no. I want to hold up remand this next turn, Kedler. I don't think Stony is where we want to be just yet. Like, we had an opportunity to Stony. It would have been we didn't brick on mana, you know? Like, if we hadn't bricked, that was like our opportunity. And the opportunity was kind of missed, you know? It's fine. Yeah, the opportunity for that was unfortunately missed. And now we're like Vendilion clicking away the Worm Coil. This is awkward. They usually have so many haymakers post board against like Jeskai decks like ours, so I doubt that I'm going to be able to strip his hand completely of threats. That would be absurd, right? He's on 5 cards. So it's pretty much, do we want to die to Thragtusks, or do I want to die to Ulamog, or do I want to die to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we take the Ulamog and then we'll just die to the rest of his hand. Seems about right. Seems about right. So Ulamog down. He casts an Ugin off the top. So we drew him an Ugin. Yep, seems good. Ugin, kill my click. Yep, seems fair. Seems like fair magic. Follow up with Thragtusk. Yeah, seems like this seems reasonable, right, guys? This seems like fair magic, right? I mean, but like here's what's funny is if we hadn't bricked on that land, we actually might have taken this match. I think we actually skimped on a lot of necessary answers for Tron, to be honest with you guys with this build, because I was trying to look into because I don't think the matchup's great either. Even if you spend precious sideboard slots on like crumbles, like 2 or 3 crumbles. I think that the problem is, but then you're using up sideboard slots for other matchups. I'm not trying to make an argument that Queller is how I should have spent those card slots, but I'm telling you, I don't think even if this 4 was quote-unquote Tron answers that it makes this matchup any less horrible. I mean, we can take the Thragtusk damage. I can Bolt Helix. We can like electrolyze Ugin. I mean, the issue is Ugin can gain so much loyalty in a turn. It's kind of the same issues as Karn in that you really can't stop it from the amount of loyalty it gets in a turn. It's a little absurd that it's playable in Modern. Little absurd. Yeah, exactly. Take Ulamog, hope for paths, but it just wasn't enough. Alright, so we fall to 7. We're dead if we let him attack with the Thragtusk, and I'm dead if we let him activate Ugin. I just don't see it. And it's okay. Like, literally, this game could have been decided way earlier. He actually didn't have an answer to Stony in his hand. This matchup was decided by the fact that we bricked on mana. Opponent's 7 was good. Good, certainly. I mean, like, the thing is, a Tron hand that is kept on 7 will be good regardless of how you have to interact. That's just how it is. And us not interacting is certainly what was our downfall. You draw the... Yep, I'll scoop. Good games. All right, well. Let's play another match. I think what's awesome is we took a game on him, and we almost took that 3rd game. It was literally... We kept a 6 that was a 1-lander, scryed a non-land at the bottom, right? And it was a matter of us bricking on land twice that led us down this path, led us to that conclusion. I'll keep it. In the dark, I'll keep. Good luck, have fun. And that's okay. I mean, like, I think that just matchup-wise, it's hard, and you can skew your sideboard as much as you want. The truth is that unless we stole the first game, which is hard, it's hard to do against Tron. Unless you stole the first game, then you're just throwing away your sideboard for like one specific matchup. I'm not saying Crumble can't be used in other matchups. Crumble has implications against manlands. Crumble has implications against some of the Valakut decks in the format. So I'm not saying it doesn't have any other matchups that it has semi-use for. But then you're looking at, okay, well, I have like this 13 card sideboard. I have this 12 card sideboard. You know? Lava Spike. These are where the remands are going to be quite shite. Go. This is where they're going to be quite crappy. We felt very good about these against Panza. We felt okay with these against Tron. This is where we're going to feel really bad that these aren't just like negates or mana leaks or more logic knots. The burn match. We did not draw third land. Oh boy. That's not good. Well, at least we had tools for this matchup. He seems to have a creature light hand. I think we just have to pop this off as much as I really don't want to. As much as I really don't want to. It seems like he's got a threat light hand potentially. So we'll see. Could click ourselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think in the dark you still keep a hand like this. But I mean, you know, it's still a prototype, I'm not sure. No. That is not good. We're going to ditch one and then hope to remand into... Remanding Riftbolt's okay. It's probably like the only card in this matchup that you're actually happy to remand somewhat. So we'll remand this Riftbolt. Hope his hand is still threat light so we don't miss out on Path and Bolt. Hope to draw to the third land. Okay, we do. But opponent's on 5 cards. Ah, he did have a Swift Spear. Hmm. Yep, we're halfway dead. Now we're dead. Yeah, we know we're going to die to the Riftbolt. Go to 4. So we need to have access to both Bolt and Remand. I think I like bolting. We're dead to so much. I mean, we died. We needed to draw like more hard counter spells or Helix. And that's what we get for being a little bit more tempo-y. If you want to be better against burn, you need not you need not remand. You need not. I'm still excited about the deck regardless, you know. Regardless of getting burned out, regardless of getting troned. I'm still excited about the deck. I hope you guys know that. Hope you guys know that. Colonnade's been terrible for us. I mean, with us being on more of a tempo strat, I just don't know if I love it. Need not. We need not. Yeah, we're dead. We died. We fought the good fight. Remand a Skullcrack just to die to the Search for Skanta. Great in the burn match, right? At least we have tools for this, thankfully. Dispel comes in. Skite comes in. Not Weird Tear. Quellers come in. I'll do it myself, thank you very much. I'll do it myself, thank you very much. Alright, let's just win the next 2. Purge is okay. Quellers are actually nice. It's not a tool we normally have access to. This is not a top deck war. Not that like we won't run Jaces, but for the time being, I'm going to cut some of the cruddier stuff. Remand is just laughable, right? It really only is useful against specifically... It just delays the inevitable as far as like even cards such as Riftbolt. I mean, that's the thing you want to tag with it if we leave them in. Some number of these in, that's what you want to tag, but we want like hard answers. So then the question becomes, okay, we have these 6 that are kind of crap. Same with Electrolyze. I'm not too fond of it in this matchup, of course. So we have these tools. I mean, at least Click, I can hand check him off the top for like a lava spike and put it back in. I don't mind the clicks. I think Quellers are going to be better, but I don't mind the clicks. Anyway, so do we want Search Riscanta just because it's lower on the curve? Do we want Tear for Eidolon? Do we want Angers to clean up if he has like a creature heavy start? Don't think I want Anger. I think I might still want Jaces. If we can get them down soon enough on this third game, let's put these back. If we get these down soon enough in this second game, he might have to aim some burn at the Jace, and so Jace could even equal gaining us a little bit of life, which would be huge. I think on the play we can run Search. Remind me to cut Search on the draw. And we'll run the Remands even though they're bad. I think I like them slightly better than Cryptic. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe Cryptic is still better than Jace in this particular matchup here. And then we run like a Miser's Jace. It can't be right. I just think I think 4-drops are just so bad against Burn in general. I mean, if we run them low on resources, I mean, like, the thing about our deck is, like, we have to, since we're on the Remands, unfortunately, like, they're nice with the tempo plan, like, these threats and the heavier burn. The problem with Remand being, like, I have to pair this with a hard counter behind it, or Click, or Queller. Like, this has to be paired with a Dispel, the Spell Snare, the Knot, or a Cryptic to actually work. Whereas Jace can't actually wombo with Remand. Like, the support for Remand would have to be Remand and then follow it up with one of these 10 plays. Or, like, slam a Spellskite. So give me one Jace, the Mind Sculptor. Let's do it. So we are going to go with the Cryptics after all. This hand seems fine against Burn. One sideboard card, let's keep it. I'm not running the basic, shoot. Yeah, we're not basic, Mountain in this list, though. So if I go Scalding Tarn, I can't bolt immediately. Opponent's mulliganing? Whew. That's good news. And he's thinking about his 6. Opponent goes to 5. Keeps. Okay, I'm actually going to opt for just turn 1 path, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, BrewSpy, no, you're crazy. This is a terrible idea. But I think this is what we want to be doing, and I think next turn I just play the Steam Vents tapped even. Like, we don't need to rush to Visions. Like, I think he just wants to stick Eidolon against us next turn. And, like, I give him the go-ahead if I just go Steam... Like Scalding Tarn into Helix... The fact that we're not on the basic mountain just makes it so very weak. I think we just kick it back. Blownway says Jace isn't the worst. It's a 4-drop. Yeah, I mean, it is certainly bad against Burn. So he bolts us. It's fine. He goes Boros Charm. Okay. So here's where I like finally considering the Serum. Although this Serum will be suspect because I'm not cracking the fetch first. Maybe I should just go ahead and crack the... Yeah, okay. Hang on, we're going to crack this. I'm going to Serum. So Spell Queller, yes. Probably not Remand. Spell Queller, okay, but Remand, no. I mean, we leave it in because it's better than... I mean, like, if that was like Jace, I would have been bottoming it as well. And maybe I'm supposed to just fire off the Helix there. But I'm kind of hoping to do a combination of, like, Path or Bolt. Like, I'm hoping it has some creature threats. Bolt me? Okay. Well, guess we just fire off Helix because he can't stop it here. So there's Queller, kick it back. And Queller I like, because like they'll want to kill the Queller to get the other burn back. Obviously there's always the potential of Searing Blaze being left in my opponent's deck, but it's fine. That's excellent, sure. You got it, opponent. Actually, maybe I should have quelled that just to get the tempo going. That's true. I think I should have quellered the Lava Man in retrospect. Because now we're not quelling. And now I think I'm like sheer envisioning. Still holding up some of these other plays. So we drew a remand anyway. I actually kind of prefer bluffs over strand in this situation. We already have as much white as we probably need. Let's go bottom and take the less painful land. Kick it back. Really the only thing I want to tag with remand is specifically Rift Bolt, right? Rift Bolts are really what we want to tag with the remand. Yeah, he's kind of flooding over there. I don't want to just fire off the Helix though into like a skull crack. Bluffs go. So now we've got Queller backed up with a Dispel or Spell Snare. Doesn't thin. I feel like you would want to thin as burn. Yeah, as burn, wouldn't you want to thin? I feel like you would want to thin. Show me Skullcrack. Nothing. He's on 2 cards. Is it super greedy to search for Skanta? I don't think so. I think it's a little greedy to play out the search for Skanta, but he's kind of out of gas over there. It's a little greedy. Lava Spike. Okay. Search for Skanta can flip if we bin a card. I mean, not that Bolt's bad in the matchup. I wanted to flip my search for Skanta. And now we have a huge mana advantage. Well, we don't have a mana advantage. I mean, my opponent has as many lands as we do. I'm just saying that this will make us able to play a Fury of Spells in a turn, which is what he's going to go for. Like, opponent's going to go for, like, when we do, like, an Iskanta activation, he's going to try to just burn us out. But I think I still want to do this. It's too bad Iskanta can't take Snapcaster Mages, right? I think I'm just remanding this, to be honest. So I don't really want to have to play around it later. Ooh, we whiff. Happens. Well, at least we're not drawing 4 lands. It's a positive thing. Kick it back. Okay, we needed to get this Queller on the table years ago. I probably I'm potentially putting us in the. I feel like we were advantaged up until like the last turn, where I got greedy and decided to. Yeah, I think now we're actually starting to be disadvantaged. I'm starting to put us in the potentially we could lose this game category. So let's go ahead and finally get the freaking clock on the table. Or at least it'll soak some burn. It does one or the other in this matchup. Alright, Cryptic is where we want to be. We'll take that. Any order. Vendilion Click, we can do the off step and we can back it up with Cryptic. Seems good. See, like in this matchup, I almost don't necessarily need a Skanta to be digging. We need a Skanta just for the extra mana source. And we can hit like Lava. Yeah, Click can hit everything from, let's float blue here. Click can take, ideally, a Lava Spike. Well, our hand's not clunky, so we don't need to click ourselves. I think we like what's going on over here with us. You can have a Swift Spear. You can have that. We Cryptic it, because Cryptic is kind of the most awkward counterspell in this matchup. You just exchange it when you can. We've got Snap Helix.
He's got one card and it's a land. Snap, Helix, Logic. Okay. I don't need to do this sorcery speed, but I guess the benefit to doing it sorcery speed is we play a little bit around some of my opponent's draws. But, I mean, I kind of just like putting him dead this turn, because we have perfect information. God, I'm tired if I'm not explaining that well. And you're dead to bolt. There we go. Math can be hard when you're tired. Okay. His draw was clunky, ours was not. On the play, I like Anger, potentially, against Burn. I actually think it was wrong for us to cut the Electrolyzes. Because these give us a proactive play when we're running all of our Burn. Like, this is where we don't even mind necessarily the Eidolon start. I think Remand is just so wrong. You know? I know it can tag something like a... and it might be fine filler if we don't have anything else we want to be doing. I mean, like, on the draw, I think Jace gets cut. So if we want to run like 3 Remands, that's fine. If we want to run like, you know, try to get cute and hope to tear an Eidolon, we could do that too. But I think like, just like as filler, I'm fine with these Remands. But like Jace had nothing to do with what we were doing to our opponent last game. I think the search actually still is fine. I think it's one of the few card advantage engines we could justify squeezing onto the table. I mean, case in point, Purge is another answer to his threats, but it's not really what we want to be doing, to be honest. It's kind of the same category as Wear Tear. It's like, well, this and this are ways to kill Eidolon, but it's like we'd rather just either exchange a counterspell, a burn, or convert one of the paths instead. Or just like naming Eidolon on Ruined Halo is always so hilarious, because then we get to start pressuring them even more. What do you guys think? Do we just want like some number of Remand as filler? I don't love it in the matchup, but like, it makes sense with our tempo. All right, let's do it. Let's get a good 6. I guess we're looking for a good 6 with like a Helix in it. Oh, the Lighthouse is super greedy, by the way. I've always felt that this card's been is greedy in Jeskai shells, but ooh, it's got a Helix. We'll keep on the draw. Try to scry to a white source. We'll bottom a Snapcaster. Hopefully he Goblin Guides us into that land we're looking for. Draw us a white source, because you're the Goblin Guide. Yes! That's how you do that, stream. I think we play the Flooded Strand, though. Yeah. Draw us a land because you're the Goblin Guide. And we're not going to get punished here if he reveals Basic Planes. There's another Basic Planes in my deck, although that's a little awkward. We have a Lightning Helix coming off the top. Okay, that is awkward. But if I don't path the guide, we're still taking the damage anyway. God, I'm so sad. So sad it was a reveal of Helix. But I think taking 2 free damage is stupid as well. And maybe he needed this land, so maybe this is also doubly stupid, right? Right, maybe we're just supposed to take the damage on the guide and we still get the Helix. I think that's greedy, though. Rift Bolt. Oh, that's a Remand target. Do we draw a different blue source? We don't. Sucks that I have to shock there. It really sucks that I have to shock there. Or that I feel like I need to consider the shock. We need to hit land and we can't do it off of these sorcery speed visions. Like, it needs to be we're doing something proactive, which is making his Rift Bolt a little bit more awkward, whilst also hopefully drawing to the mana necessary to Helix and maybe also Serum Visions. Alright. So that was a land. I even feel better about Colonnade in this position.
Okay, if he doesn't do anything else, we just toast the Swift Spear with our Helix. Okay, so he resuspends the Rift Bolt. You absolutely need a clock. Yeah, I mean we could like spell quell the Rift Bolt. Do you think that's what I'm supposed to do instead here? Kaffirham Lincoln instead of just getting our Helix off on the Swift Spear. Do you like just going like the benefit of doing the Helix play is I can play the Steam Vents tapped. The benefit of just going Lighthouse Queller the Rift Bolt is he'll maybe spend burn on the Queller. He did see Queller, so Blazes might be in. I kind of like just getting the Helix off here, to be honest. I'm going to Helix and play our Steam Vents tapped. To go back to 17, we're going to go down to 14. Yeah, but you have to worry about Skullcrack. You like just Helixing? Yeah, I think we'll get the Queller down when it's correct. We'll get it down when it's correct. Opponent's on 5 cards. I mean, search feels really awkward here, right? We absolutely need a clock, though. I don't disagree with you in the slightest. We might just go, if we don't draw something else that's action, we might just go Serum Visions, try to find some gas, try to quell something. I mean, worst case scenario if he does, like, worst case scenario is that he's literally brought back in Searing Blaze. If this Queller exchanges with 2 burn spells, we're very happy. Opponent's really tanking here. He doesn't know exactly where he wants to go with this. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, my opponent just said 1 second, chat, so we're going to give him a moment. I'm going to pull up our deck list while we wait. So these are the new cards we're testing. We're testing a more tempo style of Entreat. Of Jacekai Entreat. Jacekai Entreat? Jacekai Entreat? Whatever. I didn't misspoke exactly what I was saying there. Yeah, Jacekai Entreat, you know. Everybody's playing Jacekai Entreat, right? Everybody plays Jacekai Control, right? Oh, I added the 3rd Entreat. Let's see if he's back. I mean, if you're going to leave in the middle of a game, I really like the way the opponent went about it, right? Said, hey, give me a sec. Says thanks when they get back to the table, so to speak. I mean, that's like the kind of conduct you get to see like at like a local FNM. You know, opponent really needs to go to the bathroom or something. Like at like tournament level play. I mean, it's unfortunate. You got to like call a judge, and it's just all this wonderful nonsense. I understand why those rules exist. It's just I guess I'm just thinking about FNM a little bit right now. So I might be going again. It's nice being in an area again that has a nice local scene. So Rift Bolt. Rift Bolt's not bad to hit on Queller because it gives us kind of a guaranteed. Ooh, We drew Helix. I think getting the clock going is correct, though, right? It's tough. Opponent's got 4 other burn spells in his hand. This is not what we need to see. Yeah, I like quelling the Rift Bolt, and if we're dead, we're dead. You know, when you're dead, you're dead. I think we do have to get a clock going. She's got 4 cards. So, Searing Blaze? Yeah, he just fetched. And we're dead. Yep, he brought them in. Well, that's unfortunate. Guess we just Helix. Don't even know if I can justify the fetch, right? There is a bit of a difference between 7 and 8 in this matchup. We can't play the search. Yeah, we may need to remand. At this point, remand is going to be helpful for his white splashed spells. Alright, we'll crack it. We're going to 7. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we take... Yeah, we take the Helix next. Hold Remand for a turn. Remand gets us into both Helix and Cryptic if we want it. Oh, it's a white spell, perfect. I mean, he might have another white source, but we definitely jump on this opportunity. He didn't have a follow-up play. So do we have the mana to... We do have the mana to Helix and also Cryptic. So I actually think that math merits the shock. Hold up, let's see how this goes. So Helix. Put us back to 10. Shock, we go to 8. He doesn't jam, but we don't loot house. We like our hand. We... Oops. We search for Skanta. Fountain tapped, go. So exchange Cryptic with the Boros Charm. I'm still potentially dead here, by the way, stream. It's unfortunate, but still potentially dead. Let's see what we got. It's a Lavamancer. Escanta flips regardless. We need to find Snapcaster Mage. Let's counter mana. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 to activate Escanta, but it won't find a Snapcaster Mage. I think one of our best hits right now is Snapcaster Mage. And I think we need to draw it now instead of try to cantrip into it. Do a Cascade Bluffs instead. Okay. So again, Escanta can't hit Snapcaster Mage. We could try to Lighthouse into it. Yeah, we've played out all 4 of our Helixes. I mean, like, another hit here would be something like the Halo. Halo could name Lava Man. Or Path or Bolt. All answers. But we know he's got 2 more burn spells. That's why I'm thinking we have to kind of coax the deck into giving us the Helix.
Might still be correct to dig, though. That's really frustrating. I mean, the click might also, like, his hand, he might draw, like, you know, a lava spike. Need the clock. It's, yeah, I think it's Snapcaster bust. I do agree. Let's use bluffs to do this. Nope, it's an island. So we ditch the island, we Escanta and find an answer for the Lava Man and hope to fade. I mean, this isn't going to be good enough. It's most likely going to be a bolt. Nah. But, food for thought, we didn't fetch here. We would have hit a Halo and Halo could have named Lava Man if we left up enough white. So we are dead. If we are not dead, it's a very strange burn draw. There's the bolt that would have answered the Lava Man. Bottom both of these. Yeah. I mean, his draw was good. His draw was good enough to... unfortunately, we showed Queller game 2, and he brought back in Blazes. Blaze blew us out because we kept thinking to ourselves, right, Lincoln? You kept saying we need to establish a clock, and I totally agree with that. I think we needed to establish a clock. Opponent just kill us already. Yeah, good games. Not good enough, though. That was a lot of Boros charms. Better than 3. Four is, unfortunately, better than 3. Wonder where our snapcasts were. There's a sideboard dispel. Oh well. I mean, we're going to lose percentage points against both of those decks with the way that we've constructed our deck, right? The whole format isn't Tron and Burn. I mean, there's a reasonable amount of both Tron and Burn. But the whole format isn't Tron and Burn, so we'll keep going. Like how opponent, like... Yeah, like how opponent's like, you drew a lot of helixes, didn't you? We drew all 3 of them in the deck, but it didn't matter. Didn't actually matter. And that's okay. Alright. We can still live the dream. Dream is not dead. We can still live the dream. I always love, like, when we live the dream with some of these prototype decks. Happens more often than you'd think. When we built the 3 of Jace, 2 of Entreat, Jacekai Control the other day, that was strictly a prototype. It went 4-1. So I do always love when they do that. If they don't, it doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, we knew Tron was going to be tough. We played against Tron. We knew Ponza was going to be tough, but we beat Ponza. And then we knew that Burn is tough, and we died to it. See, this is why we need Grandmaster. Alright, keep. Ooh. Mardudu? Jund? Mardudu? Is it Jund? Right, we just need to top deck that tasty Entreat if this is Jund. Actually, in both of these matchups, this is where we want the Entreats, right? This is where we're so happy we've added the 3rd one. Remand down. Yeah, it sounds like Lingering Souls to me if he's taking Remand. I don't think Jund would normally take Remand in this situation. Right? I'll go Tarn even though we don't have a basic mountain. Just so he, like, thinks about the implications of Bolt, but I don't plan to Bolt. I plan to get a white source. Is it Jund? Is it? Yeah, you play that Confidant. You do that. Could be Goofy Goyf. Tarmagoof. Yeah, so we're still getting Hallowed Fountain because we have bluffs. Hallowed be thy fountain. A Helix. I want to get that white mana online as soon as I can, but I don't want to miss out on the opportunity. Alright, kick it back to... I don't really want to double bolt a Goyf. It's not really where I want to be. We could filter, though, red off of the bluffs, and then we just need a single white mana source outside of that, and then that is Bolt Helix a Goyf. It's not really what we want to be doing, though. Inquisition. Okay. So cannot take my Jace. Bolts down. If he plays Confidant, I'm okay helixing the Confidant. I don't think that's what he's doing. Just another Tarmogoyf. Just another Tarmogoyf. So we're actually fixed into our colors nicely. I might even just get the Steam Vents, just due to the Cascade Bluffs or, in reference to Cryptic or even Jace. Schmel Snare. Okay. Snare, Helix, Cascade, though, is a little bit awkward. I'm still going to do it, though. With the priority being on Snare. I don't want to shock myself there. Okay, so he goes for Lily. Lily pitch Steam Vents? Lily pitch Helix, no. So Lily pitch, actually it might even be Lily pitch Spell Snare. It might be Lily pitch Spell Snare. Now I'm going to pitch Vents. It could be Spell Snare. So, okay, Lighthouse, Jace Brainstorm. I think it's pitch the Vents. And we're just helixing the Lily, getting back a little bit of life. Not that pitching Snare or Helix is a big deal. It doesn't grow the Goyfs. There's already Instant's already in the yard, so I think we're just jamming Jace. Oops. Yes, I will. I mean, killing her does grow the Goyfs, so we drew a path for Goyf. I kind of want to just Jace Storm, even still. Well, okay. I still kind of just want to Jace Storm. Hold up. So we have a turn that's just sit on Snare or Path of Goyf. Lily goes up, we discard the Snare. We path something. Worst case would be he draws a Thoughtseize, and then we lose out on the Jace. He's already played one Thoughtseize. The fact that he didn't take Jace leads me to believe his last card is a Maelstrom Pulse, though. Wait. Jace just improves the chances that we'd have two Angels in this situation. He doesn't, just throwing him away to a Goyf attack just to get one Storm isn't always correct. Okay, so we'll ditch the Spell Snare. Even though I think he's got the answer to the Jace. His hand certainly smells like a Maelstrom Pulse. They run more of those than they have in the past in the Bloodbraid Elf variant. His hand surely isn't Bloodbraid because he ditched a Blackcleave, so leads me to believe that there could be a Dark Confidant or a Maelstrom Pulse. I still like answering a Goyf instead of Lighthousing here. And Goyfs can grow to be big enough to handle Angels, so it's another reason to just... There's no reason to not just go for the path on that. I don't think so. Search for Riscata. Alright, so I'm going to favor Jace over Search. Let's go blue-blue here. Filter. So Jace, and it is going to be a Jace Storm. I mean, it's tempting to just bounce the Goyf, right? By time, but let's Jace Storm. Find land drop path, that would be the nuts. A white source and path to exile. We didn't, but that's okay. Snap will answer Goyf. Remand is pretty bad at this point. I don't want him to take the Snapcaster though, so we should go top. I don't really want him to take Search for Riscata either. It might actually be correct, because I'm not playing Search next turn either. It might be correct to top the Search for Riscata and the Snapcaster. And then Snapcaster, excuse me. And then when he Lily pluses, we ditch the Remand. I think the Remand is the weakest element of our hand. I think it's weaker than the Serum Visions. I'm not sure. So we did end up giving the oh, he's got a K command as his last card. Oh, it's a bolt. Okay. Yeah, so either way, the Jace is going down. Even if we'd Fate Sealed, we would have lost the Jace, and that would have been much less value. We wouldn't get the... Ooh. No, he just hits us. That's scary. Dark Confidant. Yeah, that's terrifying. Opponent goes face. Is he just ignoring our Jace? No, he's killing our Jace. Okay. So he's just... couldn't make up his mind. Probably hoping to draw to... Okay, so we have Snap. We kick it back. The ideal play here is that we get to Path Goyf and we exchange Snapcaster with the Confidant. So I'm going to hope to fade a draw. I know it's greedy, this play I'm about to do. So we're going to ditch the Serum Visions to the Lily. Raging Ravine. That's not the scariest thing. I mean, yes, I do have to eventually answer it. We can't just... Whew. So the revealed was Raging. So we're going to ditch Vision. Surely he's not ditching the Raging Ravine in this situation, right? This is top deck mode. This is where you want to keep your Ravine. He ditches a Terminate. So we can exchange the Snapcaster with, as long as I float the right colors, of course. We can exchange Caster with, okay, so we need Helix mana. We need to float, we need to turn some of this, there we go. I mean, Bluffs is awkward, but you can work around it. It's certainly easier to play around with in paper. Wait, what am I saying, Helix? I just need to snap path. Pff. Duh. Derp. Alright, hold up. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We could have used the mana that I floated that way as well. So we're going to exchange our Snap, as I said, with the Dark Confidant. Snap's going to target the path. Glad we found one this game. Our build's a little greedy, and by a little I mean a lot greedy, because I'm not running the full suite. I mean, there's still like a Lily to overcome. You know, just like there's still Liliana to overcome. There's a Raging Ravine that's going to happen. There's still not insurmountable odds, but there's a lot that we have to overcome still. So insurmountable odds. Search for Escanta to find an out to the ravine. Thoughtseize down. So Ravine's going to clock us, put us to Lightning Bolt range, or even K command range. We may be dead as it is, even still. Yep, we're going to yard that. Yes, we're going to transform. What do we draw instead? We draw Serum Visions. Tempted to Serum instead of Escanta. Well, okay. So if we Escanta, leave open Foundry, we'll definitely answer the Ravine. Not definitely, it's just there's a reasonable chance we're going to find an out. Whereas just Visioning here, Vision would hope to naturally hit, like, best case scenario, probably, you know, well, Snapcaster wouldn't even do it. Ravine has grown. So I think we go for best case scenario and we Escanta. Actually, it needs to be Path. But Escanta gives us the most dig to find it. Yeah. Yeah, so I can't even, because the Ravine's already grown once, we can't even let it be, there's no point even relieving up the Foundry necessarily. Unless we want to, like, bolt suicide ourselves. It's not really where I want to be. Alright, Scott, to find me a path, Exile. Hey, I asked for path, okay? Sometimes you ask and you receive. Bada boom. But, ooh, yes. So hold up. So this puts this puts him in an awkward spot. This is exactly where we wanted to be, isn't it? Lincoln says yes. Oh, nice. I guess, I mean, even K command would have been killing us too. Yeah. All right, what was our plan for Jund? I know, one top deck meets another. Wow, really? Yeah, he topped a bolt. Happens. All right, so we like this package against Jund for sure. Our counter magic's a little. It's just fun magic right there. One top deck deserves another. All right. What's awkward? Remand in this matchup. Well, no, when we're on the play, I actually don't hate it. Well, no, they can play around it. It's hand hate for you. Same can be said for, Cryptic, Logic, and Snare, the remaining counterspells. I just think it's even easier for them to play around Remand. These, at least, they have to finally, eventually play into. I don't hate Quellers against Jund. They're not horrendous. Especially since he's going to be probably cutting some removal. He won't cut the stuff that kills Entreat, but some of the stuff that lines up well against Entreat doesn't line up well against Queller. He'll bring in more Maelstrom Pulse, for sure. But I wonder what Queller would look like. Purge, for sure. Explosives, even. I'm not as excited about Helix. Like, Electrolyze is nice when we're in top deck mode. Settle gives us an out to Thrun. D-Sphere answers Lily or Goyfs. So I'm not that excited about the Helixes. I think they're important, but I'm not sure I want one or two maybe max. I don't think I want the playset. Same with the Remands. I think both Remand and Helix are kind of like, we either want fast or grindy when it comes to our burn, and then like our removal wants to be like Paths, Purge, and Settle, and Explosives. So let's run it back and let's just do it again. Let's top deck again. I told our opponent one good top deck deserves another. I mean, we topped the Entreat, but he topped the Bolt. This is fine. It's a little slow out of the gates, but it's not terrible. Our opponent. Bottom, okay. Let's go Colonnade go. Been a while since I've been able to catch stream. Hope all is well. Thanks, Kami. How's it going? How's it going on your end? Don't want us to not have double white. Don't necessarily want to take unnecessary damage, though. I don't love this from us, but I think it's okay. Draw to another Jace. Well, but we need another mana before we can take the extra Jace, unfortunately. Sometimes it's correct for us to pretend that we have an answer in this situation. So I like this Purge coming up. Why don't we bottom top? I'll take a Purge. Just because I'm trying to top deck things like Entreat doesn't mean like I pass over sideboard cards. That's not true. Well, hanging out, putting off your research paper. What's it on, Kami? Anything interesting? It's always fun when you get to like pick your own research topic. If this is Confidant, we just electrolyze it. It's an ooze. We most likely also electrolyze that. This is fine. Zebrafish and Geinstein. Phytoestrogen commonly found in soy. Well, you made it sound interesting. I'm sure it's not nearly as fun to actually research, though, necessarily. Tell me more. Logic not. Okay. We're gonna slam Jace. Opponent's missing on land drops, so I'm going to bottom that. Like the Mongoose versus Snake, Jun versus Jeskai is a timeless rivalry. Hey, what's up, Zuby? Oh, he had the bolt. Jace down. But Treetop Village down. Did he natural the third land anyway? He did not. Surgical? Sure. I don't necessarily need Jace to beat you, my friend. We only had 2 others in the deck. This isn't the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. He does get our hand information, though. I like just killing this ooze. He missed land drop, and we even bottomed a land drop for our opponent. Like, I like just going explosives away the ooze. Preserve some of our graveyard for this logic knot. Not much. Back to Jeskai. Yep. Giving it another shot. This is still quite different, though, from the 4-1 list. It's more of a tempo stratagem. Stratagem? Strategery. Did you hit the third land, naturally? We did Jace bottom 1. Did you? Opponent? No, he did not. Excellent. Vendilion Click is interesting, too. I like just... He's only got 1 green source. I mean, he can pick away at my graveyard a little bit here. But I also just like sitting on Cryptic or End-Step Click. Is also strong. He doesn't know about the click. He'll play around Cryptic and Logic, but the click will happen. Whether he wants it to or not. He did mulligan to 6, right? I think did we keep our 7? We might have kept a 7. We could also exchange the Vendilion Click with his ooze instead of the explosives, but I'm not really too concerned. I'll take an ooze hit. What else you got, opponent? It's like when you're stuck on mana, ooze is really awkward because you need a plethora of mana to really make it work. I could even like counterbalance the ooze. This is not so much a grind play, this is a tempo play. Concealing the Vendilion Click. That's fine. You can have my Electrolyze. Go for it. And now we've got Vendilion Click plus and Logic Knot. Seems great. This is where I would do the draw step click, because now we're in the driver's seat. I mean, that Jace Fate Seal, yes, we lost Jace to the Bolt. Like, but now we're less likely to lose Vendilion Click to the Bolt. Like, yes, we lost our Jace to an attack and a Lightning Bolt. But us Fate Sealing him off that... Like, imagine if he drew that Treetop Village. Just imagine. I just want to hand check him. I like our hand. I don't even think I'd take anything, necessarily, because it could draw him to the land he needs to operate. Any more with Lich's Mirror? No, not yet. Not tonight, crazy. Just a bunch of sideboard cards. Okay. So this is a decision point. God, he's got like... Interesting. This is a decision point where you take the decay or don't. How long could we keep the click on the table, right? Double Lily. I think it's worth not drawing him to the third land for Lilies. Like, his hand is a bunch of uncastables and a surgical we don't care about. I mean, sure, the click will die, but that's at the expense of him not recasting his ooze. Kind of like just letting him sit and suffer. I'm going to say no. We just want the information, so... Lily, surgical... Oh god, we lost it, hang on. Lily, surgical... Pulse, ooze... decay... Well, hold up. I think I'm just supposed to answer this ooze or the explosives. Set explosives, pop explosives, hold up Logic Knot. Yeah. No, this is fine. Even easier. Set explosives. Do I even pop explosives immediately? I don't have to. Is there a creature for him to get? There's an ooze for him to grab. That would change the clock ever so slightly. Is it 18? Blow up the world. By world, I mean is one permanent. Hang on. You should just let the ooze resolve and EE it, says Lincoln. Yeah, that's the line I ended up taking. I don't think you're wrong there. This is gross. I even kind of want to... Oh, no, we don't have Jaces anymore, so we can just fetch. We can just thin. We don't have Jaces anymore. He surgicaled them. That seems so aggressive from our Jund opponent that he just surgicaled my Jaces. We have 3 entreats to draw to, too. I mean, Pulse is a concern. I'd have to, like... If we draw Entreat off the top here, like, the decision point would be... God, we can, like, Colonnade him, too? Good lord. That Jace Fate Seal was insane. Like, imagine if he had the Treetop Village. This could have been a different game. He's probably going to decay my Vendilion Click. He's going to bolt it. I could fight over this. And then we have Purge for Lily. Could technically fight here. I know he still has decay for Click, but that leg is way more... I mean, like, at this point, we're just at the time... We're utilizing time. What about Swerve? What about double negative, right? Or counterflux for Bloodbraid Elf, right? What about those cards? They seem terrible. Oh, he did draw a land finally. So he probably Lilies. So there's the first Lily we knew about. Lily exchanges with the Click, but we've got him on double Colonnade kill. It's fine. Does that mean I ignore Lily? Not necessarily. I could technically ignore this Lily, though, because I can just pitch Cascade Bluffs to her. Could technically ignore this first Liliana. Oh, I was supposed to leave open red mana, though. That was silly of me. Kind of just want to ignore what he's got going on. I wanted to discard the bluffs to the Lily. That's my bad stream. No, Colonnade's great. This is definitely a matchup where we like having 2 or 3 even. Attack with Celestial Purge. He has another Lily in his hand, though, Wumbo. His hand was Lily, Lily, another Surgical, Pulse, Ooze, Decay. I just don't know about Surgical in that matchup. I think that was kind of... I never like calling my opponents wrong because that's not very nice, but I don't know if Surgical is... certainly Surgical is fine in your Jund sideboard. But I think that's where it belongs in this particular matchup, right? I mean... Maybe Surgicaling Entreat is good. He Surgicaled my Jaces away. This almost makes me want to, like, split up our threats a little bit. No, it's so strong. If he really wants to just Surgical Jace, go for it, I think. If he left in Decay, you don't like Queller too much. He did leave in Decay. So you don't like Queller as much because he left in Decay? Okay. He's also on the play now, so, like, maybe we want Anger, maybe we want Helixes because he's on the play. Ruined Halo. He played Tribal Goyfs. Well, Halo is something else that gets hit by Decay, not that it's bad. Surgical's fine. Yeah, but Surgical's good against Snapcaster. Oh, it is. Yeah, I mean, it was so weird that he just, I guess, went after Jace. When I didn't have another Jace in my hand. I hear you, Zuby. I hear what you're saying. So he was trying his best to spend... I just don't know. I feel like Ooze is a nice answer for Snapcaster. Kami thinks the Surgical's aggressively mediocre. Helix seems better. Stop an early Bob if you just need a 59th or 60th card. Yeah, I think like maybe Helix is where we're supposed to go, not Quellers. On the draw. On the play, I didn't mind this, but now that we've seen he leaves in Decay, maybe on the draw we want Helix. Or even like Anger gets better when we take out our Quellers. Like, do we want Angers? Like, this can answer an army of Bloodbraid Elves off the top. This can clean a house. No. No, I don't think so. Remand is also one of the few ways besides our Not that we can handle Lily quickly. Maybe we want to do like 2 Helix, 1 Remand back in. Maybe Remand gets so much better like on the... Hang on. When we're on the draw. Maybe we want like 2 even. And then 3rd Helix just so we don't lose to the early Bob. Okay.
Let's try that.
So two remands back in. I'm not in love with the card in the Jund match, but I just don't want to get trounced. This hand seems playable, right? He quickly mulliganed to 6. I mean, this hand's playable. What would be sad is if I mean, I'd love a 6 that has a little bit more interaction, a little more action. I mean, this would be, we're hoping to not top a land, and then we're hoping to scry into action, right? I mean, sometimes it's correct to keep these seven card hands against John just because they're, you know, liable to have a plethora of hand hate. Helix just seems better. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if this is what I want to keep. Yeah, but turn 1 hand disruption in this hand is rough, though, says Lincoln. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not terrible to keep a little bit. Yeah, it's true. Him grabbing the visions would be really rough for us. All right, I'll look at a 6. The 6 is basically even a little bit worse than my other, but I don't want to go to 5. Putting in a few remands a fair call, slow the game down. On the draw seems good. Alright, is this hand good enough to play a game of Magic, or is this hand good enough to win me the game? This hand is good enough for me to play Magic, just as my 7 was. Is this where I'm supposed to say, I think there's a 5 that technically plays... I think there's a 5 that wins us the game, Zuby. I think there is a 5 that could potentially win us the game. But... even still, oh, this snare is just a little bit too slow. I think I bought him both of these. So he's going to play a powerful 2-drop play. Most likely. Worst case, it's Bob. No, he doesn't have it. Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't keep the spell snare now. He's seen both of these fetches. Let's just go ahead and play the fancy schmancy Tarn. I hate having mismatches as much as the next guy, but this was a nice. This is a donation to the stream last year, so it's nice not having to always get play sets of Tarns borrowed from Card Hoarder. I know the mismatch, but hey, we were able to get into a 3rd Jace thanks to it, so it's not all bad. Definitely want to fix ourselves into more white mana the sooner I can. This is where the remand would be nice, right? If this is him sticking Lily. Oh, it's Last Hope Lily. That's not as scary. Oh, we don't have a picture on her, though. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Last Hope Lily. Let's fix ourselves into more white. She's not that scary. I mean, duh, she's a planeswalker, and I eventually have to do something about her, but she's not as scary as Liliana the Veil would have been. It's fine. All right, Colonnade, go. Yeah, I mean, we could have looked for a 5 that wins us the game. I mean, this was a 6 that plays Magic, but it wasn't the 5 that wins us the game. Fulminator, sure. We do not care about that so much. I mean, it's a combo with Liliana, Last Hope, but we don't care as much as you might think. I mean, I do care about the fact that he's planning just to Lily bring back the Fulminator. Maybe I'm supposed to do something proactive with the Snapcaster Mage so that he's at least tempted to not bring back the Fulminator and just kill our Snap. That seems more correct. I think that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to Snap Serum. Do you have a surgical? You showed us a million surgicals last time. No? Not this time. Okay. Alright, Smell Snare. Bottom. Go ahead. Snap Visions is a great play here. Yeah, the thing is like if we just let him just freebie minus his Last Hope Lily, he gets back Fulminator and tries to tempo us on mana. I mean, we tempoed him on mana game 2, and it felt great. I mean, that Jace Fate Seal probably won us the game, even though we lost the Jace. I mean, yeah, okay, great. We get to go up to 4 for command. 5 mana play? Uh-oh. Or he wants to thin before he blood braids.
Oh, Confidant. Okay, so we Helix the Confidant. Ooh, okay. I think I ditched the vents, actually. We want to make sure we can fix ourselves into double white so that the angel blowout can happen. Lily. Oof. Need an engineered explosives. Jace is interesting. Jace does not die to this board state. Jace is very interesting to me. Well, okay, so he's going to fulminate a white source, right? What about Jace? What about Jace? What about Jace Storm? He doesn't die to this board state. I mean, opponent could, draw, this or that. So, let's go Jace then Helix. No, we go Jace then Bolt. Right? I don't really want this Steam Vents. Hang on, let's go Steam Vents then the extra Jace. And we'll see what he does here. I imagine he's going to Liliana back the Fulminator. Tarmogoyf? Tarmagoof? Fulminator. So he just drew a Fulminator. He didn't have to minus Lily. I'm not going to be able to keep up Cryptic next turn just due to the Fulminator. I think we have to pitch it. I hate to say it. God, I need like an explosives. But Jace does not go down. And that's going to be huge. We can like fetch away the Steam Vents. Okay, it's fine. We fetch away Steam Vents. So we kill Bob, fetch away Steam Vents. Yeah, kill Bob, fetch away Steam Vents. I mean, he can get Bob back with Lily Last Hope, though. Unfortunately. So let's fetch away the Steam Vents. J-Storm. Detention Sphere. Okay. So I can D-Sphere, Last Hope Lily, take care of the Bob. We lose this Jace, but we have another Jace. So we put Colonnade, then Jace. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Last Hope Lily is really scary. I mean, of course, like, I'm scared of Goyf, but like, if we don't answer Last Hope Lily, he's going to ult her. And then on top of that, we don't get to, like, we can't, like, he'll just keep bringing back Fulminator Mages and Confidants and Goyfs if we, I mean, Goyf is more likely to be exiled in our deck. Okay, that's not bad. So we'll discard the, well, do I want to discard Vents? Lily's on 6. Yeah, we'll pitch Vents. Lily's on 6. He's going to kill the Jace that's on the table. We can play another Jace. And this next Jace could actually tempo the Goyf. I could actually just, this next Jace could just minus on the Goyf. I know it seems a little bit weak, but maybe that's the correct play. What's the other play we have? What is the other play? Jace, Fate Seal myself. No, Jace still dies. Goyf's a 5/6. We're going to discard the Helix to Lily. I'm not in love with this, but I think it's more or less what we need to do. Still could top deck that Entreat, guys. I mean, not this next turn, but if he doesn't kill the Jace here. Yes, we're most likely losing Helix to the Lily. Ranoff thinks he's going to ult Lily here. He's thinking about it. Maybe the better play was just Helix's Lily and take a hit from the Goyf, lose the Jace to the Lily plus up.
He's either thinking about Lily ult, he's answering the door for that pizza he just ordered, or he's... I mean, he could play everything in his deck could be played. Yeah, so he's thinking about the Lily ult. Maybe also about that pizza. He just needs to separate Jace and make a pile. Well, okay, so here's what's interesting here. We know he has a Goyf, right? I could keep the D-Sphere and the Jace, though. I think we lose this game if I keep the land pile instead. I'm going to sacrifice our lands. Lands are overrated. Confidant. Alright, so that's why I went for that play, because he top decked a Confidant. Okay. I just don't think we're winning it, though, because, like, if we had 3 lands, the Helix wouldn't answer the Goyf either. No, I like your play better. Entreat's not great here. Unfortunate for the home team. I mean, that kind of was just like, opponent got a bunch of walkers out and we just didn't have the relevant counter magic kind of story, right? And we're not going to. Like, we know we're not hitting that land for 3 turns, so we're brainstorm locked, so I think we just lose. But it was well played. It was good games. I think we were supposed to steal that first game and we just got a little bit too low, right? Because we did entreat, but opponent top decked a bolt and we were too low. All right, we'll play one more. So the dream is now officially dead. It wasn't dead here. It wasn't dead when we lost to Tron. It wasn't even dead when we died to Burn. The Burn match wasn't close around game 1. Was very much our game, game 2. Game 3, though, we couldn't squeak it out. We got to the top deck portion of the matchup, and we didn't have a clock going. Opponent brought back in his Searing Blazes, hoping that we would draw a Queller. We did. Maybe we were supposed to take out Queller after the opponent knows that they're in game 2. That might be something for me to think about in the future playing against Burn. I think that's very educational, at least, because I don't often play Queller. Queller is not something I often play in my blue-white decks. I like it a lot, though. I think that maybe that's just my inexperience on the part, though, of playing like a more tempo style of Jacekai, because that's, again, not my normal style. The fact that he had the Searing Blaze and we didn't have an answer for it was insane. It literally won him that 3rd game, because he was able to blaze the Queller. We still take 3. He got back the Rift Bolt that we quelled. Falling on the wrong side. It's okay, Irish. I still like a lot of what worked. I wanted to play... So, Irish, I wanted to play the 4th Jace, and I just didn't have the money today, so... Surprise, surprise. So, I opted into just adding the 3rd Entreat. I think the deck would be much happier with the 4th Jace, 3rd Entreat, after playing it today. But I really actually liked kind of the tempo style that you suggested, Irish. I'm sorry that it's doing poorly. I know these are some of your suggestions, so it's sad for you to maybe especially to see some of them failing, but I still really like the deck. I mean, we hit Tron, we hit Burn, we didn't draw what we needed to beat either of them, and then the Quellers looked so good though. Irish, hang on, before we go on, because you just showed up. You missed the first few rounds. The sideboard Queller plan looks so good against our Panza opponent. Let me show you real quick. You can maybe land a Jace for the next brew. Thank you so much. That'd be sweet. Yeah, I'm borrowing 1 Jace, and then the other 2 Jace came from Card Hoarder. I think that the deck kind of wants the 4th Jace. What I would do is I would go back to just 2 Entreat with only 3 Jace. I think every Entreat that's running the list needs 2 or more Jaces per. So I think the 3-2 split that was working for us before is more or less correct. And then we get to add in like 3rd Cryptic. We get to add in another Logic Knot, or I actually really would have liked a 2nd Logic Knot for the league today. So like maybe this Entreat becomes, because again we don't have the 4th Jace. So I think if we were going to play this again tonight, if I was to run it in another league, I would probably switch this into either 4th Path, 2nd Logic, or I still like some of these tempo style effects. And then the sideboard Quellers can complement that. I think the Quellers, the opponents know about the sideboard quelling,
they lose some strength was the issue with these today. They lose a little bit of strength in some of the matchups once the opponents know about them. Maybe I was supposed to take these back out against Burn. But anyway. Okay, so opponent conceded to us Jace sealing him. He had a draw that was Arbor, 2-land draw. We killed both of the Arbors with a couple of bolts. So this was nuts. This was our game 1 against Panza Irish. Hey, what's up, Lauren? Sorry, I didn't see your message. What's up, Lauren? So that was game 1 against Panza, and then game 2 we died. We can review that really quick. Yeah, game 2 we died. A horrible, horrible death. I didn't mean to keep this hand, though, did I? I guess I did keep it. Jeez, I probably shouldn't have. I guess I was like, well, it has a basic island and a Serum Visions. Okay, we found another basic island. He moons us here. But at least we have double basic island. Find the Quellers. We bottom them both. Can't cast them. We're looking for white mana source to cast our Purge. And then opponent starts slamming scary things. I think this is like, yeah, Chameleon Colossus. Just not really for this matchup, but I guess he had nothing else he wanted in. I think I end step click him. No, we click ourselves and put the Entreat on the bottom. I'm taking a break from homework. I'm good. The deck, great start. Just some of the matchups and yeah, just kind of how, I mean, like, yeah, we kicked the crap out of Panza, which felt great. We actually do lose the second game against them, though. So we bounce that, tack him with the Vidillion click. He redeploys. No, he plays a Chandra, unfortunately. So Chandra kills our Jace. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, so this is the Inferno Titan. Yeah. So what do we do here? I click myself. We actually hit the second Lightning Bolt. And remember, we're Blood Moon. Like, I can't cast these Helixes or Purge. Which is maybe a reason to take out Helix in this matchup, potentially. I don't know. So we bolt the Titan. I was aiming to just block the Titan. That's why I took the 3 off of the in the first place. He slams. Okay, Tracker. Doesn't have the land for it, though. Colossi. Okay. And then we're dead. No, we Jace. We Jace. I think we even find the third Lightning Bolt here. Yeah, we Jace. I think we found third Lightning Bolt, and that deals with Tracker. Put Entreat back on top. Kill Tracker. Kick it back. We're able to block for Jace. Yeah, we do block. Acid Moss takes down one of my blue sources. We actually fought on for a while. Bounce that. Kick it back. Remand the Chandra. He recasts it. Chandra kills Jace. We never find the white source for Purge in time. But that's turn 2 Blood Moon for you. I mean, it's a little bit too quick. Turn 2 Blood Moon wins Legacy games, too. Turn 1 Blood Moon is very powerful in Legacy, too. Game 3 we won, though. What's up, Kingzilla? We're just doing a little bit of review. I still think there's a lot that we can work out. I mean, again, it's just a rough sketch of the deck. This hand has so many basics, we keep it against Panza. Go. That was kind of my reasoning for keeping said hand. We were just hoping to draw into the goods. That's a bolt. Can't cast it yet. It's okay. Go ahead. Do your worst opponent. And they didn't have a fast start. I think they mulled to 6. Yeah, he mulliganed to 6 and bottomed. And now we've got the Wear Tear for the Moon. I think he moons us next. So we go Island Go because I think the Plains is more precious than the second island, but I could be wrong. Do I ever play any version of Tron? I play Tron and Pauper because I feel like Pauper handles Tron maybe a little bit better, maybe not. And I know you're like, well, BrewSpy, if you're fully aware that Tron is a little bit... I can't say that it's too strong for Modern because it's not. But I would make the argument that I think that Tron and Pauper is more interesting than Modern Tron because the best versions of Modern Tron... Okay, we quell this. And we just start Fate Sealing him. I think that Modern Tron is not that interesting. I do find Blue Tron to have some interesting lines. I feel like Modern Tron is just about haymakers, whereas like Pauper Tron could be anything from like stuff that we've brewed, like the Rebels Tron, to like the more streamlined 3 or 4 color Tron, where you're like bouncing stuff and doing all sorts of fun things with like Mold Drifters and stuff. It's broken. I don't want to use the wording broken because I know there's always, you know, the occasional Tron viewer that watches my stream. I just don't think it's like very swingy in Modern. You either crush your opponent under your feet or you you die horribly because it's a bad matchup for you. And I don't think that's very fun. And I think that's kind of a knock to modern sometimes in general is like the things that make it kind of not fun is when you have a lot of ships passing in the night. And we had some of that tonight, you know. We had some matchups we tried to make interactive. Like the burn matchup, we tried to make it interactive. We tried to make some interesting plays. We're like, well, if he has the skull crack, like we're screwed here, but hopefully he doesn't have it. Okay, he didn't have it. Great, we get to keep playing. Like that's interesting. And that's a stretch for me to even say. I mean, like, we actually found a way to make those matchups interesting. And the way we did it is by playing a kind of a tempo style of Jacekai. I don't really like this opener, right? Would I keep a 6? Would I keep a 6 that's just 3 lands, a serum, and a remand? Ah, let's do it. We're playing for fun at this point. Opponent is also 1 and 3 though, so actually we don't need to worry about that. Okay. For once we didn't get paired up when we're having a bad league, unfortunately. For once. I mean, Remand's good in a vacuum. I don't necessarily want either of these tools if I don't know what my opponent's on. How about we do this? We have a fetch. Let's top the Bolt and the Remand, but in that order so that we're going to redraw at least second Remand. And then if we don't want second Bolt, we can shuffle it away with this Scalding Tarn. But if I do want it, okay, we won't want second Bolt. Easy peasy. That was a very easy decision. Cool. I may want to counter like a Search for Iskanta with this Remand. So I don't necessarily think it's Fountain Go, which is really aggressive. Considering we don't know if he's blue-white or if he's Jacekai just yet. Terminal Colonnade denotes one of the two. I get Logic Knot. I don't think we'll need it though. Let's Serum. See if we get a different land drop. We could still Logic this turn. Ooh, we drew Snare. There's Jace. There's a Foundry I technically do need as well. 2, 3. I think it's greedy to just sneak the Jace into my hand. If we get to remand something, we draw into Slam Jace. I doubt opponent will give us a play to remand. One of my local Tron players played a single bridge. You like the card? Just win with your walkers. Cody says, I think you at least have to admit that Tron is not a good deck to stream. It's not that interesting to watch for a majority of players. It is just kind of like I have them or not. I think a really animated streamer could try to make it interesting, Cody. But it's fine. Tempting to remand that because I could slam Jace, but like then there's the potential that he just has another land drop here and has his own Logic Knot ready to go anyway. And shocks. I like it. I'm going to shock too. But that also says more about the streamer than the deck. Yeah, I mean, as far as like the deck itself, I think that Tron is more interesting in other formats. Wizards will never. I would never see Tron leaving the format because you can't. Eggs is like the exception, right? Like Lanterns and Trons, and I mean, my buddy Chris plays Lantern. He makes it look so much fun. He's a really interesting guy. Yeah, but that's freaking Joe Lissette Irish for sure. I would say Joe's in the exception, right? To what Cody's maybe saying. I think this is terribly greedy. Start activating our loot house. So we're going to get the Jace and we're going to pitch a Bolt. Seems fine. Nice. Kick it back. I'm happy to sit on this lighthouse for a little bit longer. I'd watch Joe break down Zombie Hunt. It's just an ambush viper? What?
Hmm. If there's a sorcery that said 3 make 10 mana, people would play it. Oh, for sure. I should have lighthoused there. I still have my auto yield on, unfortunately. But I mean, making land drops is important. Opponent's name is Glorious, right? Try hard. I like it. We have 3 entreats in this build, so like maybe ditching the first one isn't insanity. Kind of prefer Path even because there's potential that this breaks down to a Colonnade game. She's going to clean up over there and ditch a Path. Is the mana advantage enough that we could go Jace yet? Sort of. We'll kick it back. I mean, the name of this game has been the Lighthouse, really. That is a sweet, sweet addition to more tempo style of Jacekai. I think it's horrendously greedy, but I like it. I like a lot of the Hey Irish. I like a lot of the elements that we were trying in this version. At least I know it wasn't a great league for the prototype, but like I feel like we have a lot of reasons to be in Jeskai finally. Like not just the burn, not just the electrolyze. Like there's also a main board Lighthouse, and then the board we've got explosives is a reason to be in 3 colors. These. Like we have quite a few elements that make sense with the Jeskai color combination now. It's fine. Just a main phase Helix? Okay, sure. I'm not going to crack this fetch per se, especially since we're trying to resolve a Jace, but he's nowhere near Colonnade status. Ooh, but the Colonnade doesn't let me go for this. Well, no, we still can go for this play, even with Colonnade. I think I still value this path more than a Colonnade, though. Like, we can still go for the Jace line now. Yeah. Like, tap like so. Especially since he just spent burn. So he fights. Don't really care if he has a remand in his hand. And we could Jace Storm into the... Oh, or we can just draw the land. I'll Fate Seal so it takes multiple burn spells. This is an Angel? I'm not really that scared of Angel when I have Path in my hand. I'm going to say no. I'm going to kick it back. Go for the Fate Seal? Yeah, he can have an Angel. So say it as an Angel. Jace of his own. Do I want to tempo counter this, or do we want to just make it disappear? This is where we kind of wish we had the, I think we want that to be gone all the way. No, this still feels like a really sweet spot to remand, though. Because, like, I'm at 6 now, so, like... The burn is scary. He also has to clean up here because he's on 7, so I think that's why another reason why the remand is maybe sweet. So he has to make a hard decision here. We knew he just drew into Resto Angel. I think we just Fate Seal a burn and Snapcasters to the bottom, to be honest. And that's how we lose this game from this juncture. Okay, he just bins his Jace. Like the way that we... hold up. So we only have one counter spell if I don't Jace. If I Jace Storm, we might find multiple counters. We just wanted to get Jace up to the point where he doesn't die to multiple burns. Now we die to multiple burns. So there's an Entreat. Let's set it up, right? Let's set it up. Set him up and knock him down. So we're going to play the Colonnade. I'm going to put this Plains on top. Then the Entreat. Actually, I should have played Plains because we might be remanding into the Entreat. My bad, stream. We could also electrolyze into the Entreat. We could have made more Angels if I had been a little less greedy there. I think I shouldn't have played the Colonnade. I think I should have played the Plains. Put the Entreat next. So Entreat number 2. So what do we want to play around? So that's 2 Angels. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3 Angels with Remand and Logic Knot behind it. Let's do it. So 3 Angels. There's one more Entreat in the deck. We're not all in on this. Maybe we're Chalice and Tron. Yeah, I mean, that's usually more of a feature of Eldrazi Tron than Green-Black Tron, of course. There's another Tron in the format that, well, it's a little more rare. You've got, I think he's considering a Logic Knot. He wants to remand. Okay. How bad do I want these Angels to hit the board? And how bad do I want us to die to multiple burn spells? Right? Like, how bad do I want us to die to double burn spell? He already just naturally discarded a Helix, right? Or was that cast on us? I'm trying to remember. I still think we're in the driver's seat, even if this remand happens. We can just put it back on top. Like, Destroyer likes casting the Logic Knot. You won't need life gaining if you lock them out of casting spells. Now we have more mana to go for this time. And we have a third counter spell this time. That is what's sweet about Jace, is you can just keep setting this up. It's a miracle. I need a miracle. So blue, blue, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, that's the thing, is like we don't even necessarily need this to resolve. We could easily still lose this. Flurry of burn spells. Unfortunately. Maybe fetched, what? 1, 2, 3 times? Maybe remanding Helix never feels good, but I think that's how I want to start this counter war. We need to follow up with Not at some point. And then a Cryptic. Okay. So we got Remand on the Helix, a Cryptic on my Remand. So is doing another Remand greedy? A bit, right? Because this Cryptic can tap down our Angels. And then we're still just dead to a flurry of burn spells? I really just need to draw like a Helix of my own, to be honest. Oh, I mean, we're definitely in trouble, stream. Thank goodness this is just practice. All right. That's the thing about Remand. All right, we drew a fetch, though. Cool. So we can put back some of this. You like going Remand? Yep. So we know the hand is more crypt. I mean, I kind of wanted to just tap out here for this play, to be honest. I mean, I know I wanted to save the Remand for more of a play like this, but I think with all the Remands that we've already played, opponent probably feels that this is safe to go. I put us dead to Electrolyze if I fetch. If I don't fetch, we're still drawing to kind of nonsense, though. So Colonnade plus Angels is 12. Yeah, Colonnade plus Angels is 12. 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have to stay alive for another turn somehow. Does it involve fate sealing our opponent, or do we need to look to the answer? It's most likely he already has the burn or another Snapcaster rolled up. So let's draw the snaps of our own. There's a snap and a Helix of our own. And obviously I won't get to play all of these things. What are the things that we need for the next turn to go smoothly? Probably not the lands. I mean, I'm at 2, so we're already dead 2. I mean, we know he has a Restoration Angel, so that's something else to think about. The benefit of not cracking this fetch is Helix puts us up to 5. If we just cast the Helix on the Snapcaster here, which I don't think is terribly greedy to do. It's probably the least greedy thing I've done this matchup, is just go ahead and get that out of the way. You just snap Helix, then snap Helix face even? Really? Helix, snap Helix for sure at this point. Okay. Just kind of climb out of this. Okay. Can we kick it back? Put him dead to Electrolyze as an Angels. Well, I mean, opponent might have a verdict, right? So let's say he has verdict. You verdict away the angel tokens and the Snapcaster Mage. We know he has a cryptic in his hand too. Let's not forget about the cryptic. Cryptic could tap down our team in our upkeep before I have an answer to it. But that's not a long-term solution. Cody says, yeah, I think we want the life points before he gets untapped. Okay. We were still technically in the league. Opponent's same record as us. I mean, maybe Jacekai Control is a bad place to be. Because we haven't had any success since that 4-1 with any of these Blue X decks. Although we jumped around, right? We didn't just stay on Jacekai. We jumped from Jacekai almost immediately to Esper. That didn't really work. And then we tried Blue-White. And that didn't work either. But I don't think we stayed on any of those ideas long enough to say that they're unplayable. They just didn't work in that particular league. Is it greedy to fetch? Puts us dead to Electrolyze Bolt. But I don't really want to redraw basic planes. Let's see what he does. Oh, I know he can't do both. This is true. Let's Jason to some fresh cards. Another Entreat. Wumbo says you should lead on Jace. Yeah, we already knew that there was a dead card on the top, though. We already knew there was a dead plains. The second plains. You don't like fetching first? But we already knew there was a dead card, Wumbo. Oh, interesting. Okay. I could even fizzle this draw off his cryptic if we wanted to. Yeah, I think I'm just going to punch him with the colonnade. This probably gets met with a path, though. But he already ditched a path earlier in the match. Could also just fetch, then Serum. We could still Serum here. We're in fresh cards. We could still Serum. Oh, sorry, it's not fresh. We did see the Entreat. What am I doing? Bottom. I mean, not that we need to Entreat a second time. It was tempting to set it up, though. But we just drew a Helix, which is actually very relevant if he just tries to burn us out. We have double path if he tries to hit us with his colonnade. It's interesting. This is probably like Jace, bounce my angel. Okay. So we electrolyze face. Let's ignore the Jace. This is electrolyze upstairs. I think there were a lot of lines that maybe won that. And I'm not saying my line was better because I don't think that's the case. So he gets to slam Jace first. Maybe we want D-Sphere. He's going to be ready for these Entreats. Excuse me, sorry. There's plenty of tools in Jacekai that can maneuver through Entreat. Do we want tools like Wear Tear for opposing Search Riscanta? Do we want... I'm not saying we cut all our Entreats. I'm just saying he'll have tools for it this time. It doesn't mean it's bad. I mean, the burn worked great there, but it's not necessarily going to work this time. Helix step, Helix. Yeah, he was toast. Maybe we cut a path. I don't have many answers to opposing colonnades, do I? So we still need to leave in some paths. We're not running field, we're running light. I mean, the story of the game was the lighthouse, to be honest. I'm sure that's what my opponent was thinking to himself. Like, yeah,
Like the three, we got to filter like I think 3 times, right? 2 or 3 times. I know you're like, well, that's not a lot, BrewSpy, but it's like, yeah, but we ditched the first Entreat and then we hit the second and the third. So we did end up resolving one of them, even in this matchup. It's not me saying that I think it's the future of Jeskai. I think this is a fun brew. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know if what we're doing at all has any implications of being competitive yet. I'll put the word yet on the end of that sentence. Yeah, man, I'm not that excited about bolts even. I think post board this gets grindier, and I'd almost just rather have more tools. I like Helix because it counters opposing bolts. I like leaving in some bolts because they're cheap interaction for opposing Jaces. Cryptic's also quite a bit clunky, but we're trying to go long anyway. If we're just smart in the way that we utilize our Cryptic. I worry that he's going to bring in some stuff for Entreat, and I want to see what that stuff is. And if anything, it's kind of cool because like he's going to leave in things like Verdict because he wants to have better answers for Entreat, and we just like, well, we cut them, put in Quellers instead. I'm curious, like, if we get to Vendilion click our opponent and see what answers he's left in for Entreats, but not actually have Entreat in our deck. Sand seems fine. It's 3 lands, natural. Three lands the au natural way. If we play quick, there's another game to be played, so that's another reason to be on the more quick win conditions, the more tempo style of win conditions. We'll still fetch as if we have Entreat in the deck, though. Like, we'll prioritize white mana, which would definitely make the opponent be like, yeah, Entreat. Doesn't fetch. Is this search for Escanta? It's a Serum Visions. Yeah, so this is going to be me seemingly prioritizing Entreat mana. And that's on purpose. I'm just trying to make that seem like that's what I'm up to. I don't think I'm clicking yet. Why don't we just get the Colonnade on the table and say go? I don't think I'm going for the Vendilion click just yet. I mean, it's a bolt that doesn't hit our Jace later, potentially. Yep. Remand is a pretty interesting counterspell. It really doesn't have a home in many other formats. It is a really interesting counterspell. I had this talk, this was with a buddy of mine, just talking about the implications of Remand and how Remand just really doesn't see play anywhere else but maybe a little bit of play in Modern. It's just a really interesting spell. It also makes really interesting counter wars, you know? So he wants to snap something. Speaking of interesting things about Remand, like we get to Remand the Serum Visions if we want to, and then slam Jace. If I do go for slam Jace, that's even more tempting than I've drawn a second Jace. If we do go for slam Jace, Jace would die to burn plus a snap attack, even if I Fate Seal the Jace. Yeah, even if I Fate Seal with Jace, he would still be toast. So we'll go for a Jace Storm. Hey, there's the 5th land. It's not all bad. What are we going to put back, though? Probably D-Sphere? No, let's put back this extra Queller. and then Strand. And if we want to draw that extra Queller, we certainly have the ability to. We just don't fetch. Spell Quell. Jace of his own. So he answers our Jace, right? And then we D-sphere his Jace. This is how this is going to go, most likely. If he doesn't kill our Jace, things get interesting. Then we, like, Helix his Jace. This will be interesting. Definitely makes, I mean, these kind of matchups are always very interesting. I don't know if I'm going to navigate this the way I need to be honest. We have a lot of meat in our hand, but yet opponent has more on his board. So I think this is just going to be a healthy attack for our Jace. So what is this? This is probably a Spell Snare for Lightning Helix. Alright, so let's Jace Storm. You really like Helix on his Jace? That's what I'm kind of going for. Or even just Bolt. Well, no, we want Helix. Well, okay, so Helix gets Spell Snared, but Bolt doesn't. I don't think I'm going to need the extra Queller. We're just about to answer his Jace. It's tempting to keep Sphere, but I don't even know if that's correct anymore. I'm going to put Sphere on top. And if we want it, we can have it. If we don't, we don't. I'm going to Bolt and see what happens. See if this gets dispelled. Oh, this is going to get dispelled. Oh, this is potentially sweet for us. Like, counterspells are actually really clutch to catch. Okay, it's dead. I was going to say counterspells are really clutch to catch on. Alright, I'm going to shuffle away the D-Sphere. And we're going to Helix his Snap. Yeah, yeah, this is fine. We still have Remand. God, we have all the things. I like this style of Jacekai. I do. I think some of the matchups we found were tough. I mean, that's what happened to the Esper deck. Arguably even the blue-white deck. Like, we managed to find our way into Panza both times, both leagues. And then this was the deck that actually stood up against Panza. And it could have just been due to the draw. Alright, so we'll fight here. It at least taps him out. He'll fight back. So he remands our man. He lands his Jace. If he hits Jace in the land, it'll kill our Jace. That's rough, but it's not the end of the world. Quelling a counter is so nice, says Irish. Irish, you're not wrong. That is like the best thing to get on Queller. Alright, so we're going to Jace Storm. We drew it Electrolyze. Okay. Let's put back Jace to the top. So what am I doing? Am I draw step clicking? Am I clicking now? Huh. I'm going to draw step click. I want to see what he brainstormed and kept, because he didn't fetch. And we also have double click, so I mean the fact that their legend should first. I think I'm going to try to remand my own clique. Cryptic is the exception, right, Irish? If I go for the Queller on the clique, on the Cryptic, excuse me, there's a lot of things that blows that out, whereas the remand has to be specifically counter magic. Oh, wait. Actually, no, we need the clock on his Jace, right? Maybe I am still supposed to just remand his Cryptic. This doesn't lose to removal spell, but this loses to any piece of permission. We can even click ourselves, maybe, but I like getting that bit of information. His hand is a Cryptic and nothing else. Kind of tempted to just leave him with said Cryptic and nothing else. Kick it back. Wumbo likes remanding the Cryptic. I think I might just chalk this up to we drew really, really well. I don't even think this is like... I mean, I feel a little bad for the opponent because that's just what this felt like. This just felt like we just drew really well. Yeah, leave him. You love that? Okay. So we leave him with the Cryptic. Shocks. Ooh, does he have Electrolyze? That would be dirty here. Kill our Click, kill our Jace. Oh, Guy's Saint Trap. Oh, that's terrifying. Huh.
I did not think he was going to be a Geist player. Okay, well we get to kill his Jace. Yeah, I did not think that this was the case. Okay. Dispel, where you at? Where you been? Okay. Yeah, so I kind of like just electrolyzing and killing his Jace. We already have another Jace in my hand, so it's like I don't think we necessarily need to fight too hard to keep this Jace alive, and we have another one to potentially resolve. Hey, what's up, young dingo? How goes? Another clean line is just snap, bolt his Jace, but I kind of want this snap to be something else. Yeah, I think the nice clean line here, we know his hand's a cryptic, maybe one unknown because he did Jace Storm. Actually, no, Jace went up at some point. Was that last turn? Let's make sure this electrolyze resolves. I know it's not drawing us to anything all that exciting. It's just going to be a land, but I think that's fine. So we've got Queller plus Dispel. Yes. So we got Queller plus Dispel. Kick it back. So we can, like, quell... Well, actually, I could just put it into the Vendilion Click. No, that doesn't feel good. I could flash in Snapcaster Mage, target Bolt. Let's see where he attacks. We just want to try to trade with this Geist, right? Why don't you cast this Electrolyze pre-Jace? Oh, Truth, Cody, due to Jace Storm. I don't disagree. So let's see where these are going. You know what? I don't disagree. You're right, Cody. We should, if we were going to electrolyze, we should have electrolyzed then Jace Stormed. All right, so where's this going? Face, and this one's going at Jace. So we'll ignore the Angel token. How do we want to kill off the Geist? I don't mind using Queller to kill off Geist and preserve the Snapcaster for something else, because we get to back up this Queller with Dispel. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think I'm okay spending a Queller just to kill off the Geist. He needs 2 answers here. We'll see if he has 2. Don't we just snap Bolt, try to turn the corner? Another reason to not play out the second click is we would lose the first. Did you rip into another counter? Did you draw removal for Queller? If he had removal, he would do it before the Queller gets to block. So we do take 8. Sorry, we do take 4. Excuse me. We go to 8. That's not a terrible thought, though, Kane. And I wonder if he's got like some clunky cards in his list due to Entreat. I mean, Entreat's not in my list right now. Yeah, so any cantripping I should do before I do the Jace, but we're not going to do any cantripping, so we're going to Jace Storm. Yes, we should do our cantripping before we Jace Storm every time. I don't disagree. Let's top these. Go ahead and play the bluffs. We will Visions. It's only going to redraw us one of those 2 land, and then we get to bottom the other. So Remand. We'll bottom the Plains. I'll take a Remand. He's at 13. Yeah, but we have like all the answers, so let's just get in for 5. My game shop has signed spell Quellers. I don't know how much they're going for. Okay, so there's the Angel. Is that a tasty Quell? Or is this where we do something more like... Is this a tasty spot to Queller? Kind of. Gets blown out by Verdict. 1, 2, 3, Queller. 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of like just logic nodding this. I think I just want to logic knot this. Because that's certainly a card I would put our opponent on, like having kept in. It's always sweet to make this just 2 mana 4 spike.
Oh, 2 mana Force Spike. All right, he's only got one card left. If you logic, then you have snap logic. Okay, Norm says you would logic because then you have snap logic. I like that logic. That's good logic. Yeah, two different Jeskai shells, different engines, different payoff cards, but kind of the same. He was also on Remand, so like kind of the same. So actually, I want to make some changes. I think we were fighting for our mana more than this deck wants to be. I'm going to cut the fourth Remand potential. Excuse me. I'm going to add the 24th land. I don't know what that land is. I'm going to add the 24th land, and then we'll see if there are any other changes we want to make. I actually think this is, I mean, like, I hedged myself to be a little bit better against Burn with third Helix, and it didn't even matter in the matchup. So, I mean, another way to be better against things like Burn is to run more hard counters instead of this many Remands. Like, Remand, of course, makes us better against a lot of the rest of the format, but, I mean, that's why Burn's here. You know, Burn is there to keep decks like ours honest, you know? You know, the second we consider cutting third and even second Helix and we're just running like the fun of is when Burn's like, oh, you cut your helixes, didn't you, BrewSpy? Well, let me just destroy you. I did get the bars fixed. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that to me the other night, Goat MTG. I do appreciate constructive criticism like that. It helps because I forget things sometimes. So, I like the sideboard. I mean, maybe we cut the. I think like triple Quellers may be overkill. I liked this plan though. That was fun. Again, I wish we could be on the fourth Jace, then we could talk about third Entreat. I actually think we should have been on just two. I think that without the fourth Jace, I think our deck could only really support two Entreats. Even some of the matchups where we just wanted that powerful top deck, it just didn't happen. So let's go back down to just the two. Let's cut the fourth Remand. Let's add the 24th land. How's deck working out? It did better than expected, but it didn't 4-1, it 2-3'd. We lost to Burn, we lost to Tron, and we lost to Jund. But we did defeat Panza, which is a plus. I haven't been beating Panza with our three-color decks recently. Surprise, surprise. And we also did take on... it could be a Glacial. I think Glacial Fortress would really complement this mana base quite nicely because we had a few spots where we're like, we really need white for Entreat or white for Halo or Settle. I think a Glacial. What about the first Glacial? Why don't you replace Remand with another knot? Yeah, I like second Logic Knot. Now we're talking. That's logical. Let's do it. Or we could add the first Arid Mesa if we want to be able to fetch out basic planes more often against Panza. Like that would increase our percentages against Panza. If we want to increase our percentages against Burn, then Glacial Fortress is a way to do it because it lets us Helix without taking very much pain like we fetch up. I mean, adding the basic mountain also makes us take less pain. So this could be where we want to be. It still curves. Still got a nice curvature to it. 8 3-drops, 9 2-drops. Technically 5 6-drops. This is just where Lighthouse gets activated in the mana curve, is all. Mystic Gate seems better than Cascade Bluffs, though I'm not a fan of colorless. Well, I'm already running a Cascade for the Angers, but and I think Anger is one of the reasons that we want to be in red. Like, what are our sideboard reasons for being red? Like, why are we in red? Right? Why have we come back? Why have we gone full circle? We tested Esper, we tested blue-white. Why are we back on red? Is what we need to ask ourselves, right? Why are we back in red? And it's not counterflux. I cut the counterflux from the board, although that could be what the third Queller becomes. Like what are the reasons we're in red, right? We liked the Burn package. We liked how Helix smoothed our games against Burn and other aggressive decks, people jamming Wild Nicottles and stuff. We liked the Loot House as a tool. So like, you know, this shell right here, this is blue-white right here. This could be Esper even. But like, why are we in red? We're in red for maybe 15 cards, right? Somebody wanted me to run a Keranos, I cut it. I actually added the Spellskite when I added the Spell Quellers, because I think they might complement one another. Arid Mesa feels bad not being able to get islands, though. Yeah, I mean, Zuby, you're not crazy. So you're saying switch. You're saying what if we did this combo? Okay, so you're saying switch the bluffs into Mystic Gate because our white count is still higher than my red count by one card, two cards, three cards. No, two cards. Right, we have two red count, but we have one, two, three, four white count. So settle, halo, two entreats. So you're saying run Mystic Gate because we're technically more blue-white than we are red. Yeah, I don't disagree. Although it's nice that fixes us into the angers pretty nicely, but maybe it's irrelevant. And then I try to get us another Sulfur Falls for the mana base. I don't mind Falls. Falls is the other way. Like Falls, although it doesn't pair nicely with Colonnade, Sulfur Falls is the way that we can also pay for Helix potentially with that. We could just buy another one of these. So do that split instead. So like Mystic Gate and then two Sulfur Falls. I still also prefer Falls over Bluffs. Okay, I dig it. We've also got a Foundry. I think between Falls, Steam Vents, Foundry, and the Fetches, I think we'll be able to still greedily run the Angers. So again, like when I asked myself, why are we in red? I don't think it's for Counterflux. I think it's for Anger. I think it's for Wear Tear. I think it's for Staticaster. Like when I think of the reasons that we're in red, I think these are the four that come to mind, and then we get to run explosives as well. And then these are the main board reasons to consider the Jacekai package. We get to leverage the Remand tempo click game, snap, burn you out plan, which I think is important in Modern. Because you know what, there's some matchups where we're not the control. That's just the reality. Even when you're blue-white control and you're up against Tron, I mean that's the exception, right? Blue-white control technically still has good game against Tron. Oh, that's weird. Why is it doing that? Hold up. There we go. Anyway, yeah, I think cutting Remands is correct. I like the 1-1 split. Why don't you do Spire Bluff? Ooh, that's not horrific. I don't like those kind of lands though when we have a lot of like really important. I mean, same reason for Colonnade. Like the same reasons I don't really like 2 or 3 Colonnades. The only reason we're on 2 is because I couldn't get the third one. I couldn't get a 4th Jace or 3rd Colonnade. But I made it work, and I own a Lighthouse, and I put it in there, and it's been really nice for the most part. Why don't we cut the 3rd Queller for another sideboard card, though? I think I just want 2 of these guys. Well, maybe not. Yeah, that's tough. Like, this package came in a bunch, and we liked it. Maybe I want to just not change too much, and we run another league. What kind of Colonnade I can loan you? Well, okay, so where would we put it, though, in the mana base, right? Would that be where we cut the Mystic Gate? What will become the Colonnade? And then what will become 4th Jace? What will become I don't know if it's a 4 Jace 3 Entreat deck. I still like this package. We've still had a lot of success with this package. We had a little bit of unsuccess just now going triple Entreat, triple Jace. I still think like the list Irish calls for probably more so Jace than every Miracle you want to run. I think is still the split. Like I like this 3-2 split a lot. Do we want Spellskite? I think Spellskite makes the Quellers better. If we cut Quellers down, I'm willing to cut the sideboard Skite. Zuby says, but there's redundancy between Search and Lighthouse. I really don't like colorless lands. Okay, so you're opting to cut the Lighthouse. Okay, I'm with you. Then Lighthouse becomes the Colonnade. Okay, I'm with you so far. So third Colonnade. Cut the cutesy Lighthouse. Okay. Well, thank you, Irish. I appreciate it. I mean, then there's your room for, well, that's still 23 lands. What's up? What did I mess up? Oh, Colonnade. Yeah, we have to add the Colonnade. Again, this is all theoretical. I mean, as it is, like, I'm up to my ears in borrowing cards, right? Like, one of our Jaces, Irish, is borrowed. A lot of this deck is borrowed from Card Hoarder. Thanks, man. Okay, so hold up. Before I borrow something expensive like Jace, are we gonna run the 4th Jace? I did pick up a 3rd Entreat. Are we gonna try the full package? Or is the split actually 4 Jaces, 2 Entreats, and we've been doing it wrong all along? What do you think, Irish?
Let me ask him in his chat. So you think we run the fourth Jace? I think that's what he's implying by trying to trade us a Jace. Don't worry about it. For now, I'd say just might be AFK. Okay. Well, you know we're good for it, Irish. So you think I should try the fourth Jace? Okay, I'll run it in a league. Do you need it back tonight? Because I would need to finish the whole league tonight in that case. If you need it back tonight. Okay, so what would that look like, stream? Okay, so if we actually could play the third colony, if we could play the fourth Jace, what would the deck look like? We need to visualize that. What does the deck become at that point? Do we put a click back into the sideboard? What does the deck become if we can add the fourth Jace to Mind Sculptor? Thanks, man. I want to be AFK. You have the option. Oh, okay. So you're just trying to give us the option while we brew. Thank you. So what would the fourth Jace imply? And I think that when you consider miracles, I think the fourth Jace does make sense, at least in Modern. Maybe not Legacy. I think they typically like the 3 of in Legacy even still. So do we look more like this and we have to cut the 61st card? What do you guys think? All right, don't worry. Next couple days is fine if I'm not around. Okay. You'll find us, Irish. You always do. Do we sideboard a click? Click to side skite out. Okay, so sideboard the second click, cut these 3. I want to keep testing like 1 or 2 Quellers though. We could add a Counterflux. Counterflux lines up hilariously against Bloodbraid. I'm not saying it's good. It's just it's kind of funny in respect to the card. Zuby likes 4 Jace 2 Entreats. Okay, so 4 Jace 2 Entreat. We'll buy a Sulfur. Let me see if I can get one from Card Hoarder first. We'll cut the Greedy Lighthouse and probably the Skite and maybe this Queller. Please tell me I have enough for a Sulfur Falls. That would be really, 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 really good. Couple Queller actually seems nice. Ooh, they're not that expensive now. Check out. I can't. Look at that. I had 1 ticket, 44 left, and Sulfur Falls is a little less than a ticket. So we're going to go ahead and grab that from Card Hoarder. Thanks again to Card Hoarder. We wouldn't be able to brew live like this and get into card. I mean, like, thanks again to Irish, excuse me. Thanks again to Irish, Exit, Tux Dev, and of course Card Hoarder, because those are the people I'm borrowing cards from right now. I would like you to revisit cutting Bolt for Verdict. So you're saying cut Bolt for Verdict. I mean, I can get over my myself and not worry about this particular build curving. I mean, technically, Entreat can also be reasonably cast here or even here in the curvature in an emergency. You know, if we have to cast it earlier than we want to. So Zuby says, cut 2 bolts, add 2 verdict. You just like 2 lightning bolts right now? Is that because of all the shadow running around? Like, why is that? Are you sure we can't try Grandmaster? I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm just closing some windows in my background. Alright, Card Hoarder's here. They're so fast. Look at that. Gonna drop off that second Sulfur Falls for us. Alright, aren't you planning mostly to trade 1 for 1 until you stabilize? Bolt doesn't kill everything. Does not. That's true. I definitely like considering cutting 3rd Bolt. But again, like, the bolts play really nice into our tempo lines. It just, I could even still, I could see cutting the 4th bolt. So 4th bolt out for Verdict. See if he still likes minus 2 bolts, plus 2 verdicts. I do own 2 verdicts if we wanted to do it. What about 1-1 split? I see a lot of Jacekai do that, Zuby. What about the 1-1 split on the verdicts? Do you need 2 clicks in the 75? Click for verdict could actually be better. 3 bolts would be nice. So you're saying put both clicks in the board and then run 2 verdict main, thus not cutting third bolt necessarily? Get a little bit heavy on our 4 drops. That's okay. Jacekai, these types of decks normally are. I mean, if we're adding the 4th Jace that Irish just lent us, like it's going to get much heavier in the 4 drops. Your call meta shifted since I last played it, though. Okay, so you're saying, so Zuby's saying do this and still run the click. And then we have a different option in the board for, like, quick removal. I can't get us into another explosives tonight, but is there a different sideboard card we want to try? I don't think there's anything. I mean, like, again, like if we're cutting bolts, we become less tempo. Period. We become more controlling. So like the second that we the second that we cut more bolts, I'm less interested in remand. Like now we're going away from where Irish was trying to take the deck. Not that that's bad. Like the second even you add verdicts, like now we're not really tempo as much anymore. If you're playing click main deck, why don't you shave Snapcaster? Main decking Wraths is another big decision point. Yes, it is. I mean, that's the thing is like adding the 3rd Colonnade, adding cutting bolts, moving click to the sideboard, adding 4th Jace, adding 1st verdict, 2nd verdict. Like these do change the deck tremendously, right? Even adding 2nd Logic Knot does. Now we're going more into, or even cutting a Snapcaster Mage. Like now we're more like, okay, you're cutting snaps. Do you want Rest in Peace now? Like, if you cut 2 snaps, we go back down to just 1 Logic Knot, then we can shove 2 Rest in Peace in our sideboard. I'm not sure Remands are best. I mostly thought it was interesting to think about. I still want to test at least 2 Remand if we stay somewhat tempo Irish. I actually really like that idea. There were some matchups it was just fantastic, having that as an option to switch over into more of a tempo style of Jacekai. So if you're going to play the main deck click, shave a snap. So what about this then? Still 3 snaps. But like every time we cut a Logic, every time we cut a Snapcaster, it opens up the thought, okay, well, could we potentially sideboard Rest in Pieces? Because Rest in Peace is potentially really strong in the meta. I have a Rest in Peace. We could talk about it. I'm at least going to put it in the think tank. I actually don't mind cutting the 4th bolt just in the list in general. So we're going to talk about these. I mean, the deck changes tremendously even just by adding the 4th Jace. You know, becomes something different. For sure. Main decking Wraths is a big decision point. Well, are we happy with this so far? Or do we still have the attitude that we want both clicks in the side? Yeah, but you get to shave anger if you bring in verdicts. Oh, we get to shave anger if we consider peace, by the way, too. They can serve not the exact same role, but they do similar things in our sideboard. Shave anger if you're going to put in Wraths. We become more controlling. I'm less interested in the Quellers at all, to be honest now. I mean, that's the nature of the beast here, right? Do we want to become more... Do we want to go deeper into tempo, or do we want to pull back a little bit and become more controlling? Rest in Peace is still over here, by the way. It's not. I mean, when we started talking about being like Irish, when you said let's go more tempo, like that's when I added the 2nd click to the 75. When you said maybe trying Remand. Actually, I'm misquoting you. You never said let's go more tempo. You said Remand is an interesting decision point for a deck like this because you're trying just to be Jace into Entreat deck against some decks in the format, right? I'm just trying to go. I mean, even like 4th Path needs to be considered. I don't know if I have one right now, but 4th Path maybe even needs to be considered since we're shaving bolts. Yeah, 4th Path to Exile needs to be discussed. So yeah, 4th Path should be talked about. 3rd Bolt needs to be discussed. Oh, man. Okay. Well, I like this part of our sideboard, I think. Definitely 1 Vendilion click in the 75. I really want to keep testing Halo and Settle
Could even go to the second Stony. Would have been good against Tron, but it's not specifically for Tron. There are other matchups it's for. I do own a second Stony Silence. Oh, careful, Zuby. You're talking. Our buddy, Wombologist's language. He was asking for us to add Soulfires to the deck. I shouldn't laugh. Card's sweet. Card is sweet. I like the mana a lot more though. It's cleaner. It is cleaner mana. That'll further improve the Ponza matchup potentially. Mana still looks pretty clean. Leaving in things like Purge and Wear Tear also still make that matchup kind of nice. Not as difficult. Yeah, but Helix plus Grandmaster 6. I mean, that would be a variant that's full up on the burn, though. Zuby says, yes, get a fourth path. I don't have one. Hold up. I can't get one from Card Hoarder either right now, can I? Let me look into wikiprice.com. So you're saying fourth path? I'm with you. I'm with you if we're cutting third bolt for fourth path. I'm with you. I think that's okay. But again, like that's again lending us more into we're shifting more into we're settling in more into control. And that's okay. It's just Remand gets even weaker then. And that's okay. That's fine. Depends. If we go more towards tempo or not, Stony can fix a wide variety of matchups. Well, if we're going more control, just because we're going more control doesn't mean we don't have to run a click. Let me see if I can't bias a matching Path Exile. Give me a sec, guys. You see how much they're going for? It's probably not a huge amount. The Rebecca Guay art that I happen to like, Paths. I didn't really need to move Moto over to do this, actually. I'm just thinking about that fact now. Alright, hold up. Is this the one I want? Ooh, Vintage Card Bot has it for a good price. Let's try to get it from them. So fourth path. I just threw some tickets in the old 26 card sideboard. I wish. What would Modern be like if they even just gave you like 2 extra sideboard, right? Or 3? What would it be like? People have talked about that before, for sure. To exile. I mean, I like this path art. I'm not going to be upset owning one. I think if it's the one I think it is. Yes. Do we get it in foil? Or no, it'll be cheaper this way, I'm sure. I just happen to like that art. When I did play Jacekai in paper, I eventually had some of these. Just one ticket. That's not bad. Just one ticket. One ticket to ride. Alright, let's get it. So fourth path. So we're going a little bit more control.
Okay. Then why are we still in red though? Like now I feel like we're jumping more towards blue-white control. Are the reasons we're in red like more so now Helix and Electrolyze? Like is that why we're in red? I mean that's fine if that's the reasons we're in red in the main board. I think Helix is it's a really nice tool. You know, if blue-white had an equivalent, they would certainly run it. Yep. Zuby says yes, that's why. Just let red be your splash. Let red be your guide. We'll have to sift through this massive sideboard. Alright, fourth path achieved. Okay, red is our splash. Red is our splash. Okay. I like the first knot no matter what we do. So fourth bolt down. I like a D-sphere in the 75, but maybe even that's not that great. I like these Quellers. I'd like to test them. Spellskite could go to... So that's a 15. And then let's just move the pieces around a little bit. Yeah, oh, I said A. Logic. Maybe not double logic. So much logic. Too much. Remember's kind of neat. It was a way to trigger the Entreat during their turn. The problem is it's not as cheap as Opt. So, like, it didn't feel like an amazing enabler for it. To be honest, we have other ways we could do that. Even before running something like Remand, maybe that's a bad example. Like, I could click myself and we could Entreat during their turn. You know, I could Electrolyze them and we could Entreat during their turn. Like, there are other things that already exist in the deck that can achieve those sweet plays without having to go out of our way to run Remand when it's maybe not that great. Why don't you toss in a second? I don't own a second Search for Skanta. That one would be very pricey. I don't have a second one. I don't disagree. I think 2 Search for Skanta is sweet right now. I just don't have it. So let's try something else. I think investing a ticket in a Path to Exile is fine, but I don't want to dump 5 tickets for second Search for Skanta right now. That's why I'm trying to give you this pile to work with, Zuby. This pile here. I'm trying to give us this to work with instead. These 11 cards. I did get a 4th Jace. Yeah, we're borrowing this from Believe It or Not. No, I'm just kidding. Irish is the best. He's been here for a long time. If you guys don't know him, get to know him. He hangs out in my chat every once in a while. He's a sweet dude. Yeah, we're borrowing Jace and Colonnade from Irish. Of course, I'll suggest the 3rd Entreat now. We have a 3rd Entreat. That's going to go in the think tank. I do also own 2 Terminus. I will put that out there. I don't want to have to fight through that discussion again tonight, but I did throw that out there. I do have 2 Terminus on Magic Online. It's just like, I feel like, okay, well, what are the reasons we're in red? Anger is tough on the mana. It is, always has been on Jacekai, always will, right? If we're just a blue-white splash red deck. I didn't bring it up for that reason. Yeah, I appreciate you. Okay. 3rd Entreat, maybe. It comes into the maybes. Boom, win the game against some of these decks that are trying to go to top deck mode. Trying to put us into top deck mode. Why don't you play 4 Snap 3 Bolt? Why don't we get fancy and run Devastation Tide? What about Thing in the Ice? Thing in the Ice could bounce snaps and clicks. It'd be awkward with Entreat, though.
If we go to third Entreat, I like a main board click to put the Entreat back into the deck should we draw one without seeing a Jace just yet. Jace says, but Jace already bounces snap. Yeah, so do Cryptics. We don't have to go too far down the rabbit hole. Zuby says, okay, I just finished the second League of Miracles. Not going to lie, Entreat and Terminus in opening hands is the most feel bad. I mean, yeah, like if you're going to add more Entreats, like then it makes sense to main board some click a little bit. It's just you have to be aware that it's not always great in the matchup you're facing. Also a fan of Chronos. I think between Entreat and Jace, we have a lot of high end already. It won't fit very well. Still think 2 Entreat's good enough? Yeah, I could see 2 Entreat still being where the sweet spot. I think if we wanted to consider the third Entreat, we shouldn't have done it before we had access to a 4th Jace. In retrospect, won't Glacial be better than Mystic Gate? Says Little Bunny. Not always. It's not always. An example would be we go turn 1 Colonnade, and we want to be able to. Well, we wouldn't be able to not anyway. An example would be the greedy Runed Halo I really want to run on the sideboard, where we would want white turn 1 and. I mean, the same reason that Sulphur Falls is greedy, although this is involved in turn 3 plays, so it's a little bit less so if we want to run the Angers, which I do. Ophidian says, but we have enough white, and blue. Should be worth a Mystic. I think the Mystic Gate is actually here because I added a second basic Plains. Why don't you just play more Cryptics? I don't have a third Cryptic right now. They're pretty expensive. I think you could consider a third Cryptic. I just don't. If we're gonna go more controlling, absolutely. I just don't have it. All right. So if we're going away from Remand, let's add another Logic Knot. Yeah, no Terminus, Robert. Probably not. Two Knots easier anyways. Yeah, probably with a double basic Plains. I think Mystic Gate's really just here, like I said, for pairing with our basic Plains. And like the second Plains does not play very well with these 2 of Sulphur Falls at all. That's something else to worry about later. Can't change it now. We just bought into a path and grabbed Sulphur Falls with basically the remaining credit I have with Card Hoarder. You did like the 1 main click. D-Sphere could be a catch-all. Okay. So kind of like that, maybe? What about Spreading Seas? We haven't considered Spreading Seas yet. Oh, that's true. If we're going to go more control-y, we need to consider Spreadings. We need to consider Crumble to Dust, even. I'd rather run Seas than Crumbles, if I can help it, though. They're more flexible. They're just a faster, lighter answer for some of these things. I mean, Field of Ruin comes to mind. Maybe Field of Ruin's better than the second Sulphur, and we just forget Anger. You know, that's another way we could go. Go more true red splash, and no red requirements, and then cut the falls I just grabbed from Card Hoarder, and then look into Spreadings and Field of Ruin. I like the idea of just being a turbo Entreat deck, though. Yeah, me too. I mean, like, again, that's more like the Remands, the clicks, the third Entreat, and playset of Jaces. And like I was saying last stream, just play the normal Jacekai plan for the first 2 or 3 turns of the game, and then slam Jace, put Entreat on top, make 2 or 3 Angels, not really worry about. And it's only going to work in certain matchups, though. That's the thing. Yeah, but yeah, if we're going to go super long, yeah, Fields, Seas, absolutely. So we need to make a lot more decisions than I was necessarily ready to make. The first click seems fine. Yeah, I think first click is fine because we got 2 Entreats that want to go back into the deck when we don't have Jace. If we have Jace, we just leave it in our hand. We just Jace storm it. Thanks for hitting that button. Welcome to the Brews by the Magic Guy show. We're trying to figure out Jacekai Entreat. Appreciate your under the hills. Turbo Entreat, though. Yeah, I mean, Turbo Entreat would be you play the third Entreat, you play some number of Remand. Right? Even like the third Remand, potentially. I think 4 Remand was just way too much. We tried 4 Remand and only 3 Jace and 3 Entreats, and it was just kind of just clunky. And then you put the Verdict into the sideboard. You know? That's probably what that configuration would start to look like. Yeah, but playing out Click into Jace is a decent way of clearing. Yeah, I mean, we could. I grabbed us a second Click for that reason. We could do this style. We could build it this style. It's not what chat was kind of leading me towards. Like again, this is the style that would probably still even so favor more burn than the fourth path. Like I'm just saying, like we need to make sure that. I think we have to vote and figure out, or I just need to make the executive decision and decide. Okay, we're gonna be Turbo Entreat deck, right? As Ophidian said, we're going to be Tempo Entreat, Jacekai. We're not going to try to play the super long game. We have no interest in the super long game. We're going to play a little bit of tempo. We're going to play a little bit of removal. We're going to slam an Entreat, call it a game. That's not going to work for every opponent, obviously, but I think that's a fine way to build the deck, you know? Why don't you just play Mana Leak? I don't hate the first Mana Leak. Remand sounds like where you want to be then. Well, I'm just saying we could play a more controlling. We could play a more controlling. We could play a more controlling Jacekai game. I just think in order to have that work, we do need to look into Crumbles and or Spreading Seas and or Field of Ruins. We need to look into Elspeth. We need to look into Chronos even. Why don't you just play Negate? Ooh, yeah. Good point. Yeah, the main board Negate. I like main board Negate with the addition of the fourth path and a Verdicts or two. Yeah, if you keep Angers and don't go Verdicts, why don't you add Snap and Third Bolt? Ophidian still likes the Verdict. Okay. Well, then what about something like this? Oh, it's only 23 land. Crap, what did we change? Oh, Sulphur Falls. That's right, I was thinking about cutting the Angers. I was all excited because I was like, man, we have like more deck slots now? Sweet. I don't know. This seems like a really difficult puzzle to solve before going into the next league. Serum Vision's unnecessary. You want me to slim on serums? Well, if we cut serums, we need to have the second search for Escanta, and I just don't have it, right? That's like where the fourth serums would go. It would become the second search for Escanta. Screw it, just go all combo. Ophidian says, then we need to go 24 to 25 lands. Yeah. Nah, serums are fine. I think they're fine. What about that? Turbo Entreat, jeez. I think that's the wrong terminology, Ophidian, no offense. I don't think we could justify calling this nonsense. It's wonderful nonsense. It's still nonsense. Calling this nonsense Turbo Entreat, I think, is a misnomer because the earliest that we're planning to entreat is turn 4. And that would be the natural without the help of Jace. With the help of Jace, at the earliest, it's turn 5. And the issue with that is we don't even get the land drop for that turn. The turn 5 entreat is still just 2 angels. And that's something to think about. That's something. Run of the Hill says, Serum Vision is really important, but why 4 path 2 bolt? 3-3 split seems better. Don't tell me that. I just bought us a path. Yeah, I mean, if we go more into tempo, then, yeah, 3rd bolt makes more sense again. Even 4th bolt makes sense again. Ugh, we just can't figure this out, can we, stream? It's not an easy puzzle to solve. So you're suggesting if we go more tempo with 3-3 split? Okay. Makes me sad because I just bought us a 4th path, whatever. I'll get over it. Sometimes that's what happens when you brew.
I like a split if we're going to run Verdict. Well, okay, Sulphur Falls came back. Give me the Angers again. Zuby says, no, if you go tempo, do 4 and 4. All right, well, help us work with the Zuby. So what if we did go more tempo style? So you're saying 4 and 4, and then where do the cuts happen? The main board negate? Under the Hill says I like 3-path 4-bolt. But if you do tempo, don't you want Geist? I think I have a Geist. Maybe. Let me see. Let me see. Maybe we might have one. You would want like 2, though. Nope, I don't have any. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you cut an Electrolyze for the 4th Snapcaster? I'm up for no verdicts main if tempo is your plan. Well, yeah, I mean, the sweepers that are less awkward with tempo are things like settle. Well, it's not really a sweeper, that's a misnomer. But yeah, like even anger becomes a little bit foolish when you're considering tempo. Why don't you just main the settle? I don't know if I want to main settle, do we? Well, hold up. As it is, we need to go back down to... as it is, I still need to cut us down to a 60. All right, Zuby says, so we're tempo, that's decision. Well, if you're saying I just don't have the tools to do it, like if Queller and multiple Vendilion clicks won't be able to, and a little bit heavier burn won't be able to do it, I think we should get off the plan. Like, does more people than just Zuby feel that way, that we're not going to be able to truly convert into tempo without the help of Geists? I don't disagree. I think Geist is a really important tool if you start talking about tempo. Is 1 click enough, or should you play 2? Yeah, but this list's more like mid-range. This list is actually more mid-range than tempo or control. All right, hold up. Hold up. This is going to make it easy. Let's go back to where we were sure about the universe. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. We liked this. I liked this 54. I like this 54. Let's figure out the other 6 cards, and then we'll figure out a sideboard and we'll play another league. I liked this 54 whether we go into mid-range or... okay, maybe minus the remands. I like this 52. I like this 52. We just need to figure out the other 8 cards. So are we a mid-range deck? Okay, maybe we're mid-range. Don't think Geists are necessary to play tempo. However, there's no doubt it is a good card. It is a great card for the tempo plan. Yeah. I like the Spell Quellers, though. All right. All right, let me do this stipulation. So what are the sideboard cards I really, really want to play? It's these 9. So, like, I'm happy with this 52 and this 9. This served us well in the last leagues we've tried this kind of jank. So we need to figure out the other 6 sideboard, and we need to figure out the other 8 main board.